Hey everyone, and welcome to Popcorn Dogs for a very Wrestlemania X7 Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Hell yeah, brother.
I sometimes want to be Macho Man, but I think I kind of turn into Hulk Hogan a little bit along the way. They kind of have a baby, and that's me. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Brad.
My name is Tyler. I'm the R-rated superstar Edge. That's if we're picking an avatar, I'm Edge.
Limp Bizkit does my theme song.
That would be even cooler if that was the case.
But the new Limp Bizkit, the country western Limp Bizkit.
Don't y'all just want to break shit?
And we are absolutely joyous and jubilant. We're so excited for our festive holiday celebration to have two of our best friends, two returning guests to the Dogcast. We have Robert and Wes from Gaming Off the Grid. Boys, how we doing?
Guys, you know, here's what I'm going to say. Roots run deep, man. You meet folks, and, you develop a little bit of a bond. And you know what the holidays do? They bring us together. And we couldn't be happier to fucking be here with you guys. And Brad, if I could jump through the screen and give you a freaking kiss on the forehead, I would do it right now.
I thought you were going to cut into a wrestling promo.
No. I mean, it maybe sounded like a wrestling promo, but that was from the heart.
Yeah, that was sincere.
I would do a super power bomb to you if you were here in a friendly way.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
In a loving way.
We're going to quickly be spoiled that I know less about wrestling than you three, I think.
You are catching on super quick.
Well, I'm new to wrestling. Like, I didn't watch wrestling at all growing up.
Oh,
and
really?
So what I know from wrestling is from when we started the channel till now. So I'm only like 5 years deep.
I put him on the School of Hard Knocks, boys.
Yeah, so I might be closer to you, Brad, than I am to.
Once Mrs. McMahon ran for Senate, I was out of there. Once the Attitude Era died, and they were like, "All right, well, she's going to chase her political career, so that means no more blading, no more puppies, and no more swearing." I was like, sign me out. I'm gone.
But that's a great point, Robert. Before we jump into X7, as it is,
Roman numerals are hard.
What's after
X7.
10? We don't know. Just stick to the normal numbers. Let's talk a little bit about our personal histories with wrestling.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll start.
Okay.
So I grew up a very big wrestling fan. I'm currently 30 years old. I'll be 31 on Christmas Eve. So my formative years were spent with the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWF. My dad was really into it.
That means when they were both airing at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you had Monday Nitro and Monday Night Raw at the same time. Then the birth of NWO and D-Generation X. And then I was really into the Attitude Era. And I did
That's what I called my 10 to 13 part of my life.
Your Attitude Era? Yeah. Well, there was a significant...
I'm still in mine. So.
There was a significant portion of my life where I was just telling people to suck it while crotch chopping.
Detention for you.
No, I quit probably during John Cena's first run when I was just getting a little too old for it and was like, it's more PG, it's more family friendly, not really my scene. Yeah. And then I switched to the UFC. So
you went to real sports.
I went to real fighting then. But I have a very loving spot in my heart for wrestling, and especially the late 90s to early 2000s era was just so good.
The cream of the crop, as some would say.
They would say.
As one would say.
So, Wes, you've been pretty hardcore your whole life?
Yeah, so I was born in 86. I feel like my vantage point, it was a big part of my life. The first thing I really, really remember is WrestleMania 6, 1990, Hogan, Warrior. And I had a lot of neighbor friends that were really into it as well. We all had the Hasbros, the wrestling buddies, the whole nine yards. And I wish I was born about, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years earlier, but I do feel like I was born at a really cool time where I felt like the business matured with me. So I was a young kid, and I was, the glitz and glam of the late 80s, early 90s wrestling and Warrior and Hogan and all that, Macho Man. And then, I fell in love with like some of these low key guys like Bret Hart, and they took over during that that pocket where a lot of people would say WWF was struggling before the Attitude Era. But I was watching Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart feud, and I was like, dude, I remember these guys from the Hart Foundation and the Rockers. This is awesome to me, dude. I don't miss Hogan and Savage at all. Let them go to WCW. Get them the fuck out of here. They're old as fuck. And then the Attitude Era happened when I was in my teen years, and it was like, dude, now this is for me, you know? So I didn't fall off the wagon, and I do agree that, you know, into the early aughts, things were okay. But shit really went off the rails for me as a human being when the fucking spinner belt came out. I'm out. I'm out at the spinner belt. But I've kept up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The belt actually spun.
Yeah, it's just like you got so you're telling me that's better than the Winged Eagle belt? Like, get out of here. But they've never had the belt right since then, in my opinion. I'm a little jaded, but I do keep up on the modern day happenings. I was a fairly big fan of TNA and ROH, and even into AEW today. Not saying all those are great. They've all had their mishappenings and they don't do booking right and all sorts of crazy shit. But I'm just a fan of the sport. I even go to local shows, man. I just love it. It's a big part of me. I even went to pro wrestling school for a few weeks when I was in my early years of college because I thought
I could see you being a wrestler.
I really like it. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I can do some shit, but I just love it that much. I really and the video games, which is probably why we met for sure, is the video game space. I've played every wrestling video game that ever came out, like extensively, not just dip my toe in the water.
Even the bad ones.
Yeah, even the bad ones. I love the stuff, man.
Well, you rightfully had No Mercy as your number one game, if I recall the video correctly, which I am in total agreement with.
Yeah.
Well, I had it as my number one game. This fucker had WWE All-Stars, which is like also arcades, a great game in its own right.
Yeah, I like arcades, and I didn't grow up.
They're both great.
As soon as the video starts and you have the 5 games sitting there, Tyler's like, "Oh, it's No Mercy. That's number one."
Yeah, we got so many comments in those early videos. People were like, "Don't put the games on the table; it ruins it." And it's like, okay, we learned.
We were learning.
It's still a mystery. Yeah, I think that my experience with wrestling actually probably started from video games as well. My older brother was very into WWF, and I remember we had like some of those old school NES games. I don't even remember what they were called. You would probably recall more than me, but he was into wrestling. Shout out to Brian. And then I just remember it was I'm a 1988 guy, so it was Shawn Michaels. There's videos of me as a little scrappy guy doing the pose. Shawn Michaels, sexy boy. I'm like,
you got it.
That's me. And Bret Hart was so cool. Those big like pink glasses he used to wear. That shit was hot. My brother was subscribed to like wrestling magazines. I remember one of my earliest memories is looking at wrestling magazines, and I followed wrestling quite a bit until it was probably around the end of the Attitude Era that I fell off. And it was maybe something else was happening in my life at that time. And there was one point where my brother and I went to a professional wrestling match in Minneapolis. I don't remember what it was called. I don't know if it was Raw or SmackDown or whatever, but we went, and the energy inside of a wrestling arena is intense. There are a lot of people and a lot of methamphetamine. And I saw a woman with no teeth screaming for someone to kill the ref, and I'm like, whoa, this is intense as shit, dude. It was really cool. And then at the very end, it wasn't even televised, but they brought the Undertaker. They just had like the gong or that sound before he walks out, and he didn't even have a match. It was after the show would have been done, but it was just like for people there, and he just walked out and said like, "I'm coming for you, Triple H," or something.
And that was it.
But that was chills for me, man. That was because we went. When we went, it was probably like 2016 or something like that, 2015. And it was when it was past my understanding of. I knew who John Cena was, but I didn't know anything about it. And I was pretty much out of the game. But to see The Undertaker, a living legend, someone from my childhood, really blew me away. And so it was, I don't know if it was me or you, Tyler. We were talking one night and we said it'd be very fun to do a WrestleMania Christmas. And that was it. And then it was like,
Then it was done.
it was full speed ahead.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. And so I look up what's the best WrestleMania, and just all the lists say X7 is the one. And it was funny. I offered Robert, I'm like, if you guys need my Peacock account to watch it, and they're like, no, we got it physical.
Yeah. We have the VHS.
That's just how we are.
WrestleMania X7 took place April 1st, 2001 in Houston's Reliant
It took
Astrodome.
place on April Fool's Day.
What a joke. And that's why Gobbledygook could show up.
Yeah, what a joke. Dude. Yeah, we'll get into that, but dude, also it's a long show.
That was the first thing we noticed.
Yeah, we were very quickly like,
Dude, it was 3 hours and 45 minutes.
and
that's like the live. It was probably way longer at the actual event, you know?
Yeah.
That's the
commercials
cut down
either.
version.
Like that's all the promos, all the backscene
Yeah.
shit, all the matches. That is a long pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Compared to nowadays,
a-
though, what was the newest one at? Because it takes place over multiple days now.
Yeah, it's
Well, now they do
different
2
now.
nights, and it's so dumb.
It's like
I hate the
6-7
2-night
hours.
Well, I know in
Because they
like,
do all the pre-show, post-show.
well, it's like a whole
turned it into a
sporting
football
event
game.
now. Yeah, turning it into a football
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
We're going to have 3 hours of pre-show talk.
I'm telling you right
Yeah,
now.
Booker T is just going to talk for 3 hours before the WrestleMania starts.
Is there fantasy wrestling?
I don't think so.
Probably.
I know you can bet on it,
You can bet on wrestling, which is fun.
funny.
It's just so wild to me.
It's only a little
Why
more
would
rigged
you-
than a lot of professional sports.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But that seems like it shouldn't be allowed. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
So I was very excited. I hadn't watched professional wrestling in a long fucking time. And to know you're going into what is known as one of the best wrestling events, the best pay-per-views, there are 6 titles on the line.
6.
1.04 million pay-per-view buys in U.S. and Canada, presented by Snickers Cruncher.
Dude, and Hungry? Crunch this. That's the slogan for that candy bar that doesn't exist anymore.
That's the attitude right there. Crunch this.
Yeah, now that we're getting into this, I'm gonna dismiss myself from this podcast so that I can return in 1 second with a really big part of something I should wear for this podcast.
You're gonna do a tire change?
I just gotta, we can keep it rolling. You guys keep it rolling, but there's a big part of why this is one of my favorite WrestleManias. And
we agree.
Show you guys why.
Yeah, we definitely want this to happen.
I am racking my brain.
I don't know where he's going right now.
All right. Wes is taking his pants off for listeners.
Yeah, wow, he's actually naked right now. I do love that Limp Bizkit is like most of this WrestleMania.
And only one song by Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's the entire show.
I think Brad took more studious notes than me, but my notes, to sum it up real quick in 3 bullet points, was a lot of Limp Bizkit. I love Trish Stratus. Golf carts are fun.
Yeah. Golf carts are fun. Yeah, the hardcore match.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it was always Limp Bizkit's My Way. That seemed to be the underlying theme for the show.
There was somebody else. Oh, it was Undertaker. They played Rollin' for him.
Yeah, because he came
So
out.
there was 2. Yeah, there were two Limp Bizkit songs. But they kept playing the same one every time.
Well, and I think that they had one for the Stone Cold and Rock, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they had the promo video that had a Limp Bizkit song before their match. The Undertaker was in his American Badass phase where he rode the motorcycle, which his song was Rollin'. So that was your second one. But My Way was the pay-per-view song. And
that was used in promos. Like, you know.
Is that Raven?
Oh, my
Raven,
God.
baby.
Dude, I didn't know how much I loved Raven until I watched X7.
Yeah.
Anyone who shows up to a party with a shopping cart full of fucking weapons, like, all right, that guy's...
Dude, he just rolls in.
He's all right. I'm with him.
Also, dude, that fight is not fair at all. Like, it's Big Show and Kane versus Raven.
Well, a big...
Like,
yeah.
he's
Big Show versus Kane versus Raven. At least you can just let the two giants fight it out.
Yeah.
He's like not even close to their size.
Limp Bizkit is the star of the show, announced by Jim Ross and Paul Heyman. So this was Paul Heyman's first time announcing, replacing Jerry Lawler. People seem to like Heyman quite a bit. I thought he was good. Because you always have like one announcer who's like the good guy and one's the bad guy, right?
I do like when like sometimes they'll fight. Like they're like, well, what are you wearing? Like,
I mean, Paul Heyman, like to this very day, is the best guy on the stick in the business. You compare him to any top star in WWE today. I felt like this since about 2015-16. He's the best guy on the mic.
You put Heyman with JR, and I think that is your top two.
JR is also one of the best. He's so good.
I have his soul. He's heart. He just like he is so tapped into like I can't believe he is selling his soul to the devil. And I'm sitting there as a 10-year-old. I'm like, he's right. I can't believe it.
I have "by God" tattooed on my back.
Yeah, I think some folks that were maybe a little later to the game forget how good Bobby Heenan was. I think if I had to pick somebody to put beside JR, if I could hear it, it would be Heenan. But Paul Heyman's really good.
Is Heenan the one that's does a guest spot with Okerlund later?
Yes, correct. Yes. And he says that thing of like it'll be WrestleMania 38 or whatever before Iron Sheik gets to the ring.
Because he takes so long to walk. Dude, that gimmick match is garbage.
Well, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we need to get back on the rails.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
But the opening of the match, I was surprised because I didn't think Jericho would be this time frame, because to have Y2J open it up.
Well, he was a big pull from WCW. He would eventually go on to be the first undisputed champion for the WWE.
What does that mean?
Okay, so you had
what does that mean?
I thought just having the championship belt mean you're undisputed, but I guess it was up for dispute.
No, after WCW,
they had 2 championships.
So it was for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, later.
That doesn't what the fuck does that mean? This is
we're just saying words.
It's just if you're from Australia and America, you can have an Intercontinental belt. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah, you also have the European, and it's like, well, that's also Intercontinental. Is
there an African belt?
There's a United States,
a South American belt.
I don't know nowadays. Maybe
that's Intercontinental.
Okay, man, I had all these questions from my childhood come up that I never could think to ask back then. I was trying to make sense in my head, but so he's undisputed.
Well, he would go on to be, but he was a big pull from WCW because this is like peak Tyler watching wrestling. 01, 02, 03 is like my peak. Like, I was obsessed.
Did you watch this live when it came out?
This one I did.
Okay.
My dad was really good about buying the pay-per-views for a few years. And this was right in the window where like me, both of my little brothers and my dad and like my dad was a prison guard, and sometimes he'd have like his work friends over with their kids who were about our age, and we would just all watch WrestleMania.
Did he ever have any prisoners over?
No, unfortunately they were a little preoccupied.
So your dad never brought over nails to watch the?
No, there's a great witness protection story we can't talk about.
Yeah, there's a few things I'm not able to bring up. He did bring home a poster board with a bunch of different shanks on them that were like real, made by inmates because he was teaching a class, and he was like,
cool.
Yeah, they melt the bristles. It's like super glue.
I mean, still the only time I've ever seen like meth and crystal crack cocaine, all that stuff. The only time I've ever seen that was at a drug awareness program in 6th grade. And they're like, here, pass around the drugs.
Dare?
Yep, dare.
This is what not to eat or take.
I've still resisted all of the alcohol and drugs in the world since I took my pledge.
Yeah, as you take a sip of beer right now.
Yeah.
It's a Pilsner. It's mostly water. It doesn't count.
All right. So Chris Jericho and William Regal are fighting for the Intercontinental Championship.
Pretty good start to a card, I feel like. They're starting, and right at this point, William Regal's the commissioner.
Yes.
Well,
William Regal is, I think, really underrated. I'm
not a fan of him, to be honest.
I'm a big fan of Chan wrestling, and I'm a big fan of his style. And I remember watching him in the early WCW years, going over to my grandparents' house, and whatever it was called. What was it called on Saturday night? I don't know, Saturday night, whatever.
All I can think is Slam Masters.
No,
but that's a game.
it was early '90s, and watching him and like Alex Wright, and but
that's pretty cool.
William Regal knows his way around the ring, and
he's underrated,
Jericho,
I think, too.
Yeah. His character sucks, his attire sucks, but he's a really good wrestler, and I think he's a great guy to put with Jericho. I thought it was a really good match.
There's something to say about. He just seems like an old school, like classic wrestler. There's nothing super flashy about him. He is a man with a British accent doing a pretty good heel.
And also, I wrote this down when I was watching it. Dude, he kind of just looks like he would be like your dad's friend. Well, like, he just looks like a normal dude.
He's the perfect heel because you're like, you automatically kind of like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, you go
with those maroon trunks. Like, get out of here.
He looks like something smells horrible in the room. He's got that look on his face.
He's very smug. Yeah. He walks with his little arm behind his back. Yeah, I mean, I like Regal. I didn't like what they did with him, a couple years prior with the man's man, lumberjack, or construction worker shit.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
But I thought they did a great job to start the card.
I'm also a big Regal fan, especially at this time. Him being commissioner, I thought he was hilarious, and they show it in the lead up to this episode, the little promo. Because I remember watching, I think it was an episode of SmackDown where Chris Jericho pisses in William Regal's tea, and William Regal drinks it, and I'm like, this is prime time television.
This is
awesome.
Quintessential soap opera fucking storylines on wrestling.
It is hilarious.
I'm there for that.
But at this point, it's still just like out of control chaos and fun. Because I think a couple years later, it starts to get like, okay, it's not fun anymore. I feel like.
I thought it was just a good, solid opening match. It was pretty quick.
Good. It was a pretty quick match.
7 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good introduction, but I do like that when like people wrestle and then they focus on someone's weakness. So like William Regal was like focusing on like Jericho's shoulder because he was like, oh, that's your. And I like because they're like kind of like really committing to like, oh, he's actually hurt, So
well, it's that old school mentality. It's not focused on high spots. It's telling a story.
Yeah.
It
was a lot of rolling around.
Super solid opening match. I think the perfect match to start with, but honestly could have been much later in the show.
Yeah.
It's good to set the tone, though. Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of really good matches. Up next, well, first we go backstage to what could only be described as like the most like set up party scene ever.
Yes, dude, it's so fake.
Completely full cigars. Yeah, they're not even down.
Full cigars, drinking beer.
Who gives that speech? Is that Bradshaw?
That is.
We're in Texas.
The APA, dude. Apple.
I didn't know APA or RTC. I didn't know any of this. So this next match to me, I was like, what is this?
All I know is Val Venus is no longer naked, and he seems like he's very into conservatism, like Mormon stuff.
Dude, I didn't recognize Val Venus at all, dude. He has short hair. He's a business guy.
They were shutting down The Godfather and Val Venus at this time. Like, we aren't going to allow this anymore, guys.
Was it like
no more hoes? No more freaking getting your dick chopped off on Monday Night Raw. Like, no, we got to clean this show up. And they were like, who better to clean up the program than the worst offenders?
Yes. I remember being a young child very invested in whether or not Val Venus lost his penis because that terrified me. And the lights went out.
Doesn't it go off air?
Dude, I'll never forget. I tuned into that Raw so hard the next week because I thought he literally got his dick chopped off with a samurai sword.
And again, I just want to point out, this is one of the biggest shows on television at the time.
Yeah, no, it was the biggest show on television,
and they're doing shit like that, and they're getting away with it.
And this is like when people talk about our generation and why we're so fucked up. Like, come on, guys. This is what we were doing. Why you guys like prior generations? You guys are watching Looney Tunes and shit. No, this was our TV.
Yeah. So we have the APA, which what does that stand for? The
Acolytes?
Protection Agency.
Or the Protection? I don't know, dude.
Okay. And they're going to go up against censorship, and there's a very clearly
the right to censor.
Yeah, the right to censor. Their fucking theme song is like a siren.
Just a siren.
They got Stevie Richards and Ivory and all that bullshit.
They are... At the time, you despise them. You hate them with every fiber of your being because moving from like
they were meant to be. Yeah,
you do, especially because like I love Val Venus so much. I remember when I was in middle school, I traded an Ultimate Warrior Hasbro for a Val Venus Jax figure straight up.
Oh my god!
Hell yeah.
Because I loved Val Venus. I was like, dude, this guy's the future.
I like.
He's a porn star. And he's a wrestler.
And now at this point in time, he's this.
And now he's trying to control the show. So to your point, he's the ultimate heel.
Yeah. Wes, did you ever see the incredibly short-lived online-only Val Venus show?
What? There was a Val Venus show?
No.
I was watching the Iceberg of Lost Wrestling Media, and there was 5 episodes where he essentially gave bedroom advice. Before they had to start cutting out they had to get less penis on air. But no, Val Venus had his own like bedroom talk show that was online only. I don't know if you can even find any of it anymore. But
that sounds incredible.
I mean,
well, if you can, and you could get it onto a DVD and mail it to me, I would kiss your forehead for it.
It might be completely
that's
lost.
The second forehead kiss so far.
And so the Godfather and Bull Buchanan are also on RTC. Were they also like vulgar wrestlers?
The 2 main offenders, if I can remember correctly, were the Godfather and Val Venus. But
Godfather, is he the hoe train?
Yeah. And he would wear like a pimp hat. And
Brad's starting to learn. He's starting to learn.
Well,
there was a guy doing this during the match, like doing the choo choo, and I'm like, oh, he's doing a special move for sure.
Yeah, I'll really fuck your mind up right now, Brad. Before he was pimping hoes nationwide. He was putting spells on people because he was Papa Shango.
That is true.
So he could actually do magic.
Yeah, but then he decided to take off his face paint and get some hoes and pimp them out.
Well, that's just progression. That's character
only in
development.
Wrestling, guys.
Yeah, only in wrestling where you can just dramatically shift and you don't talk about it.
I'm giving up my dentist license to become an undead brother monster.
Correct.
Yes.
See, that's what we're talking about.
I will have a horror film someday.
You go from being a dentist to one of the biggest fucking characters, so it's worth it.
I do like gimmicks, and I do like that they wheel them out later. But yes, the Acolytes, the APA versus the Right to Censor. It's a pretty quick match. Only 4 minutes and 15 seconds. It's pretty full of action, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, the RTC had been plaguing us with their bullshit for how many months in the lead up. So seeing them get squashed as quickly as possible by fan favorites, the APA, was super gratifying.
And also Taz, Taz is awesome, you know. So that was pretty badass.
Taz was someone I was unfamiliar with watching this.
He came from ECW, right?
I hate. Part of me hates WWE forever because of what they did with Taz.
Yeah, they kind of ruined him.
Was this like this was his last WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, they just never. That guy was so cool, man. They really fucked that up.
It kind of seemed like
we'll move on.
It kind of seemed like Vince. It kind of seemed like Vince always had something against wrestlers that were brought over that he never let them shine.
100%.
There's a few that broke through, but for the most part, you are correct.
That's super sad.
Anybody who held out on him, like Sting would be a big one, holding out for so long and then losing to Triple H like that. Like, you should have put Sting over. Like, come on.
No, Sting should have been.
Sting was incredible.
You should have given us Sting and The Undertaker is what everybody wanted.
Sting was so cool that I switched to WCW for like a good year or two. That's how cool Sting was.
Sting was my favorite by far.
Yeah.
Until Edge came along.
They're like, and what's in the rafters? There's just Sting just like hanging out up there.
Well, it's badass. It's badass he's still, I mean, he doesn't wrestle as much, but he's still around. Like, it's badass that he's still, like, doing it. Like, it's, I mean, obviously it's in AEW.
I mean, if you, here's any advice, if anybody ever watches this, that I could give to a future or a young pro wrestler up and coming. Wear fucking full face paint, because that's going to get you through a lot of years that you shouldn't be wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
Like when you're 55 and your face looks like an old baseball glove, you can still put face paint on it.
I mean, that's why Kiss was able to tour for so long, because they would just paint their face.
Exactly.
You know?
If Ric Flair had face paint, he wouldn't look like a lost grandpa on his last match.
Exactly, dude. Ric Flair needs face paint.
Real quick, we need to get back to this WrestleMania, but have you guys seen Ric Flair, like, he's promoting, like, chicken wings now?
Yes, I have seen this.
Do you guys see, and
just
it's like,
saw this recently.
He goes like the woo wings or whatever. Like, he does.
Dude,
so
he's promoting
stupid.
energy drinks.
God, he doesn't eat it.
Chicken wings. Dude, the guy, I think he needs money. But
Yeah,
I just think he doesn't know how to stop.
Well, and professional wrestlers, despite being some of the most recognizable and like notable figures in sports, they didn't make a lot of money.
Sports
right?
Entertainment.
Like they
well,
weren't.
I think they made a fair amount of money. But
Only
the top
big
stars
names?
did, at least.
Yeah.
The top stars.
I would say between the tiers, like top tier, you're making a very comfortable living, but the drop off between the tiers being a mid carder or like a punching bag, like the drop off is pretty significant as you go down.
Where you're working like legit.
If you're not first, you're last.
Oh, $50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Taz and APA win. There's a backstage story, but we'll talk about Trish Stratus and Stephanie McMahon when we get to the match later.
Yep, because they start teasing it at this point, you know.
Yeah,
but
they start crimping
now let's
her
move
hair.
on to this. Is at this point this becomes my favorite match of the card. This next one, and it's the hardcore fucking championship.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
Fantastic. Kane, Big Show, Raven. They go backstage. It's incredible.
I forgot just how imposing Kane was. Like,
He's massive, dude.
Yeah.
that was a scary, scary man.
And he's a senator now.
Wait.
yeah,
I
Jesus.
love governor. Okay, whatever. Same thing.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't? No, he's a governor.
Kane?
Yeah.
What's his real
He
name?
wears suits.
Or is he Governor Kane?
Mr.
No,
Kane.
it's Glenn Jacobs.
Oh, Glenn Jacobs. Yeah.
Okay, that blows my fucking mind.
He still has that power. Like, I feel like even though he's wearing a suit and he's like bald and doesn't wear the mask, I feel like he walks into the boardroom. You go, okay, listen to him.
Well, because I think he walks into those meetings and he goes,
Yeah, he just
For the people listening, he's doing the hand.
So, what's the context for hardcore matches? Was this well established at this point?
Oh yeah,
oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. No falls count anywhere. You can use any weapons.
Triple threat match.
And we're still very much in the era of blading and bleeding, which is for a hardcore match. You know, it's going to be like just bloodlust.
Yeah.
ECW made a killing on these type of matches.
Dude. Like Terry Funk.
Oh, the Sandman,
dude. Oh. He would do some of the most insane stuff. But what I love about this match, though, is they immediately just don't wrestle in the ring. Like they immediately just go straight into the crowd. Like, and I love that. And then they just start going backstage. And
I feel bad for the 65, 70,000 people at the venue.
yes, dude, that's my note. I'm like, dude, what are the people at the venue? What do they watch? They're watching the screen.
But it's cool if they walked right by you on the way out. If you got to
For that split second.
If you got to touch Kane's sweaty body for 2 seconds, I'd be like, I'd tell everyone for the rest of my life.
I haven't washed my hands since April Fool's Day 01.
I touched a governor.
But it is wild. Like you paid that to see this awesome match, and then the best viewing experience is just probably watching it from home for this match.
I tell you what, Tyler, if I had to go into a wrestling match with Kane and the Big Show, I would want to be top-notch, focused, clear-minded, and ready to go. Plus, I would bring a lot of baseball bats.
Yes, and you're going to need the energy to outrun them because you can't fight them like fair 1v2 or 1-on-1 even.
So what I'm going to need is an unfair advantage. And that's what I want to talk to you about for a second. I want to talk to you about Magic Mind. Now, Magic Mind, it's a little magic in a bottle. It's a energy supplement. It tastes like this green matcha heaven. And I know that I crash a lot during the day. I have trouble focusing at work. So what I like to do in the morning is pop one of these little Magic Minds.
Yeah. And I have stopped drinking as many energy drinks because they're bad for you. And
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll have a cup of coffee and I'll have my Magic Mind. Sometimes I put my Magic Mind in my coffee.
Yeah, it's great. It really
Does
complements
it.
it.
Mixes well.
I was talking with someone the other day, and they said, do you ever notice that people that drink energy drinks always look tired?
Yeah, because you got to pound 2, 3, 4 of them things just to like be able to function.
They drag you down. They have a lot of bad things in there. Magic Mind, all natural. One of my favorite things in there is the organic Lion's Mane mushrooms. Supports attention, cognitive processing, working memory. I am able to work for 10 hours straight on a job site. I'm an electrician, and I get the job done. So let's say Kane is driving a golf cart at you.
You're gonna need to have your wits about you.
I don't want to be tired. I want to jump out of the way.
If you're sluggish, you're getting run over by a golf cart.
So what we can say to all of our listeners today is we have an awesome opportunity for you. We want you to try Magic Mind from yourself. Starting from January, you will find it in all Sprouts Farmers Market stores across the country. If you have a Sprouts store nearby, get down there and grab a few bottles to try. After you're hooked, you can get a subscription with up to 50% off at www.magicmind.com/DC with our discount code Dogcast20. If you have a store nearby, go check it out. Otherwise, get online, use our discount code. We want you to try it, and it's awesome. Stay ahead of the match, stay ahead of Kane and the Big Show. When you're flying through that drywall, make sure you have a Magic Mind in your pocket. Go to www.magicmind.com/DC and use discount code Dogcast20. It gets so out of control so fast.
Yes. I love it.
They go backstage, and I work on construction sites. I'm an electrician. I know when something is made maybe a little improperly. They go into an office that has never been used.
No, dude, you can tell some of this stuff has been set up for this match.
I love it, man. When they start just going into, like, they open doors and they're throwing people fucking into other rooms, that's some video game shit that I am there for.
Yes.
Well, dude, the turning point for this match is they're mostly just like kind of walking to places, throwing each other. But then Raven gets thrown through a window, and it gets me excited every time.
As a kid, that's what got me the most excited. As a full-grown adult man watching this, I have never laughed harder than when Kane starts up the golf cart and the ref just sits on the back like the caddy.
The ref gets on the back of the golf cart and just... he just drives around the corner and then hits. Like, you could have just walked that.
Well, then at the point of impact of running over Raven, he smashes the brakes. So, like, why wouldn't you just run him over and kill him?
Yeah. Well, they actually ran over his leg, right?
No, they attempted to run over his leg.
And Raven drives a golf cart at some point as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, so Raven takes off on the golf cart, and then there's another. They have two parked for some reason, and then there's another one that follows, and that's when the ref gets on.
Because there was a piece of trivia I read. Raven was on a podcast, and it turns out every professional wrestler has a podcast. I found out recently. But Raven said that he crashed his golf cart in a spot, and it went somewhere it wasn't supposed to when he almost knocked out all the power for the arena.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Oh my shit.
No, I said he was like inches away from hitting like some serious power supply that would have cut off the satellite feed and fucked us the whole event.
Dude, Vince would have got so fucking pissed.
What do you mean? You bitch.
I do love, too, at a certain point. So I think this is when Raven is knocked out from falling through the window. Kane and Big Show are in like an office room.
Yeah.
And they're like going back and forth. And then they just fall through a wall. Like, what?
It's
At
epic.
one point, they go into a cage area, and I forget if it's Big Show or Kane that tries to use a padlock, and they can't get it to work. So
And he just opens it. Like, you can tell a lot of things like weren't working because they're just moving around. You can tell there's like tables set up with like fake snacks and drinks that they're just like, throw me into this. And
I made a note.
Like this Snapple.
Well, yeah,
knocked over.
JR says, "Oh no, they knocked over the Snapple tray."
Yeah, he had to say Snapple.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I got paid for that.
He hit that one for sure.
But I did love this match a lot.
They did manage to make it back to the ring, as you would hope.
Yeah, they come out of the entrances.
Yeah. Oh,
Which is
they didn't go
pretty
back to the
badass.
ring. They end outside of the entrance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're like on top of the entrance and then they fall,
Yeah.
which is always funny.
Kane gets the win in 9 minutes.
Yep.
Up next,
Ooh, 9 minutes. It seems pretty quick.
a lot happens pretty fast in a lot of these matches.
Yeah.
Cut to Kurt Angle watching a Chris Benoit tape. Edge and Christian try and come and just chat with him, and Kurt Angle is being so heel, being so fuck off. I'm studying. I'm trying to be.
Yeah, he's like he didn't tap or he's like so focused
Because
and
this
so
was
pissed off.
This must be a storyline that they were working on before, where Kurt Angle couldn't admit that he would have lost before.
I don't know exactly what the backstory is on this.
I think they just.
But I know that it's funny.
Is he always a heel, Kurt Angle?
He goes in and out, but I always felt he had the most success as a heel because at a certain point you just love to
Because of the
hate
you
him.
suck.
He's
The
very
you suck
also-
chant is
he's
The
hateable.
you suck. Yeah.
yeah.
So
He was also. I don't think he gets enough credit, especially working back in the day with like Stone Cold and The Rock before he shaved his head, as being fucking hilarious. Like the cowboy hat scene from, I don't remember what episode it is, where he's wearing the little tiny cowboy hat and all the funny shit that
I
he used
don't
to do back
remember
in the
that
day.
at all.
Oh, Kurt Angle's fucking great, dude. He's so funny.
He's a performer. He at some point the more you get hated, like the better it is for you. He knows like if they boo me, that means that I affect them and I am making money.
That means that I'm doing my job.
The worst thing that can happen is if you walk out and it's quiet. That would eat me up.
Especially for 70,000 people. And just awkward.
But before we get to that match, though, we have a pretty spectacular match of Test versus Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, for the European Championship.
Now, it's because they're both from Europe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Guerrero is not from El Paso at all.
Okay. What is the European Championship?
It's a name for a belt.
Is it mean?
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am fuzzy on the history.
I know Test is 6'6".
Yeah, Test looks massive.
Yeah,
Especially compared to Eddie. Looks
I love that
huge.
that
I
disparity.
think he was. I feel like I'm pretty sure he was augering out Stephanie before Triple H was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, that's why Triple H had to drug Stephanie and drive her through the Las Vegas drive-through marriage place.
This is outrageous.
Yeah, that's how they
Is
got
that
married.
really what happened?
That's
Yeah.
canon for their storyline at a certain point, but I like to think that's
Oh
how
my
it actually
God.
happened.
I think that's probably just real life.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be shocked. They're wrestlers.
I'm telling.
Yeah, that's romantic, is what it is.
I think
I
Eddie
mean,
Guerrero's
it's soap
supposed.
opera.
I think Eddie Guerrero's supposed to be the heel for this match, right? Or is he?
I can't
Don't
remember.
know. I do think the match was pretty good because I think it was just straightforward, just in the match. And they're both really good wrestlers. So it was a very fun.
Do I have to be the guy on the podcast here to say that R.I.P. to both these dudes?
I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, there's a few people on this card that, aren't, more than a few people that aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing this 20 plus years later. So
Yeah.
and they lived hard fucking lives.
I don't know much about Test, but I know Eddie Guerrero was someone always exciting to watch. And this is my first time that I remember seeing Test, and they were fantastic as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't know much about Test either. Real quick, before that match starts, there was a shot. They shot to New York, and Jimmy
restaurant?
Snuka was, he was freaking watching the WrestleMania. There was a live shot, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." A freaking old school guys watching it live. I like that. That was a cool little touch.
Oh, yeah. Got to bring in the legends.
Yeah.
I loved this match. To me, it was giving me like Three Ninjas versus the giant fucking monster in that first movie they have to fight. We have to hit him in the weak spots. Eddie Guerrero's so impressive, just fucking so acrobatic.
Very impressive.
And I mean, big guy versus little guy is always entertaining.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean,
Eddie Guerrero's top shelf.
And then I do love like how he ends up winning it by using the belt as a weapon. I love when people use the championship belt as a weapon and hit people with it. I love that.
With the help of Dean Malenko and Saturn.
Dean Malenko, yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in years. Holy shit.
Man of 1,000 holds.
If I remember correctly, after this match leading like further into Eddie's career, they started the we lie, we cheat, we steal Latino heat thing, right? So this is probably like the start of him becoming a heel. But I think that heel turn kind of flipped on everybody because everybody loved Eddie and Chavo so much that when they pulled up in the lowriders, we were just like, fuck it, they're awesome.
They're so cool.
They're cool.
Yeah.
That's that kind of back turned on a lot of wrestlers. Is like you're going to be the heel, and then people just started loving you. Like, especially Stone Cold. Like he was supposed to be, and then people just are like, no, I love him.
Yeah, I want to beat up my boss too.
Whatever Stone Cold does, I'm probably on board with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
Oh hell yeah!
The Bionic Redneck, yes, I will sign up. Eddie Guerrero wins in 15 minutes, so a little bit longer.
Okay, so a little bit longer. Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit in depth here.
Backstage, we get to see our first view of Mick Foley, and what I can only imagine was a very homemade referee shirt that he did personally. Because that's
course,
Mick
dude.
Foley.
Dude, Mick Foley is one of my favorites. I read his book recently. He's incredible.
He really lays it all out there for his fans too. Like he's an honest dude. He's a hard worker. Seems like he's a really good family man. Like how do you hate the guy?
He seems like he's really nice, and he's just, dude. I don't know how he's still able to walk after the stuff he's been through. Oh, like freaking tooth coming out of his nose, like from that wild.
Yeah,
but he just loves the art so much.
The Undertaker Mankind match is still burned into my brain as one of the most intense wrestling events I've ever seen.
I watch it once.
That's one of the best matches ever, and that wasn't even there was a match that followed that had to follow that. Like,
That's too bad
how do you
for
follow
them.
that match?
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah, you can't.
Austin arrives in the building, but we get Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit.
Dude, I was shocked honestly that this match was. So I watched it on Peacock. I was shocked that this match was still on the network.
I brought it up to Brad too. I'm like, I am really surprised. Yes.
Yeah, I'm shocked they haven't erased Benoit out of it because WWE has been censoring their shit lately. Like they've been removing a bunch of stuff.
For sure, but what they do is if you get on the network and you search Chris Benoit, you'll find nothing.
Oh, so you can't just watch his.
You cannot
pull
up his stuff where you search Stone Cold
and it shows
Rick Rude, but you can if you watch the specific events he was in, you can still see him.
Yeah.
Okay, I was misunderstanding then. I thought they had scrubbed him entirely.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I was shocked.
No, it's just if you wanted to like find a match that you really wanted to see of his, it's really hard. You have to just know the event, the date, and you have to go find it.
Well, his WrestleMania match where he wins the World Heavyweight title is a great match, and I mean it's before everything happened. So doesn't he fight Eddie? Is he fighting Eddie in that fight? Or Eddie just comes out and celebrates with him? I can't remember. It was so long ago.
I can't remember.
I brought the same thing up to Brad. I'm like, I'm really surprised they didn't scrub him out of this Peacock
I was shocked.
episode.
So it was Kurt Angle and Benoit, and dude, this is a good match.
It would be
a good match.
Well, and that's why it'd be such a disservice if they did scrub it because it's erasing Kurt Angle's legacy as well.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It would be hurting someone else that didn't have anything to do with it.
This is a technical match.
It brings up
they're both very good.
Yeah.
It brings up what you said earlier, how like Regal was targeting Jericho's shoulder, and it creates a narrative, and it's less on like the big points of the match, and it's more of like trying to tell a story. Having the submission versus submission specialist going into the match and not knowing who's going to win, it's the same type of match, and I like these ones the most. Like, yeah,
for sure.
I will say that like Chris Benoit. he just, when you're watching this, and even if you don't know what he goes on to do in his future, he looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Like he looks like if you look, like there's shots like of his face, there's nothing behind the eyes. Yeah. Like he's like, dude, you can tell he's like he's scary, dude. And so it kind of makes sense what he did, but terrifying. And also he's jacked, and that's because he was like doing so many roids.
I mean, the Rabid Wolverine is the perfect nickname for somebody of that stature.
Yeah. But I will say, dude, he learned wrestling like in freaking like Canada with like the Hart family, and like that's badass. Like that's like in the dungeon. So like it makes sense why he's so good at wrestling, but it's like it's terrifying.
So Tyler just took a drink of something that's been in our fridge for almost 6 months. It's a Vizzy orange cream pop seltzer. We had to buy 2 24-packs to get free State Fair tickets. And we've been trying to get rid of them for so long. Thank you, Tyler, for Vizzy hard seltzer, orange cream pop.
Taking one for the team.
Sponsor.
I'm doing my part. This tastes like medicine and paint thinner.
When I was talking and I saw your face, I was like, oh my God.
That's bad.
Kurt Angle cuts a fucking awesome little like promo here where he comes out and he says so much shit about Texas. If you didn't know I'm a heel, first, what's with your flag? What about the other 49 states? Lose the freaking cowboy hats. You're adults. It's the most funny, childish nonsense ever. And Heyman goes, JR, he's talking about you.
Yeah, because JR's wearing a cowboy hat.
Oh, man. To just go into a room of 70,000 people and just say, you're all a bunch of children.
And just shit on their state. Yeah, you got to be real confident in what you're doing.
And this is
the good thing is, though, when you think about the whole production, the people hearing what he's saying are across the globe. The people in the arena aren't hearing that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like it makes the people at home think he's saying that to the people in the arena, but he's not.
Was he not in front? Like, didn't he come out with a microphone before the match started for this?
Oh, he might have been in the ring for this one. He might have came out. Yeah, you might.
I thought this was a backstage thing.
So backstage that makes sense, but I think he might have came out. It's been a few days since I've seen it, but I think he does come out and he says it in the ring. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's even like more. It's just fuck you.
This technical match. The ref gets knocked out for a moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of rope breaks too in this match too.
Anytime that somebody actually gets pinned and the ref's not there to count it, it's just good, fun writing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Which is what happens.
Because you're like, oh, he got him.
It was the tap. The Angle was tapping out hard for Benoit. Benoit to stop the face crusher.
Yeah, he was tapping out because he was like, and then but the ref didn't notice, and then the match, like you think that's the end, and then it just keeps going, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, Kurt Angle does end up winning the match when the ref comes to 14 minutes.
Yeah,
a pretty good length. Backstage, this was maybe
he taps again.
Well, before that happens, though, we see Regal make another appearance, and he's upset.
Yep.
And I saw something that I didn't know I would see. It was Kamala standing on Regal's table with kimchi, and I'm like, oh, this is that super old school, like very racially motivated characters. I didn't know what else to say. I didn't think I would see anything like that on this 2001.
Oh no, they're still doing it.
Dude, they got away with so much just stuff that they shouldn't have.
I love Kamala.
I don't know anything about
him. The WWF would do so many fucked up things, and you just went, oh, it's wrestling.
Well, it's punch-out characters.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. I mean, look at how long Rikishi went, being kind of a weird racial stereotype also kind of character that they definitely tongue-in-cheek and toned down as time went on.
So I was recently watching a Giants-Packers game, and my first thought was Tommy DeVito is the greatest Punch-Out character since Punch-Out. Dude, he's named Tommy DeVito, and he's like doing fucking all of this stuff, I was losing it. So we see Kamala teasing this, what they even call the gimmick battle royale. They're not beating around the bush at all.
No, dude, and we're not there yet, but the gimmick match is I hated every second of it.
But we see then, Benoit just fucking surprise attacks Angle getting interviewed and gets him to tap immediately, which is a great comeuppance. Despite losing the match, though, he still...
So that's what I like about this is like, he lost the match, but then you know what I mean? So it's like, it continues the story, so I'm sure they continue to go on and still rival at this point. I don't know. I haven't watched, past this, but I'm sure like the next Monday Night Raw, they were like, let's fight again.
And this is still like WrestleMania is warming up.
We haven't even gotten going yet.
And I was already excited now. Up next is the shortest match of the entire fight. It's China versus
the shortest
Ivory.
notes I have too. The women's championship, which I didn't, dude. Honestly, I've never heard of Ivory before. Who the fuck is Ivory?
She was RTC.
Obviously, I know China.
Yeah. But I remember her well before that. She used to have the purple attire. I just seen a cat that looked like my cat.
Before China walked, if we're talking about a young adolescent Tyler here, China walked so Lita could run. I had a very big crush on China.
You had a crush on China?
I had a crush on, as a kid. I was like, yeah, China. But then Lita came along.
China, I will say in this match, so Ivory comes out first, and she looks like. So I don't know anything about her, but she looks like a manager at like Outback Steakhouse. That's what she looks like.
That's good. That's actually really good.
Like, I'm just like what? And then she's the champion. And then China comes out, and China's dolled up. Like she's wearing.
Well, is this before or after her tape?
This is the return
Playboy
after the injury. I don't know about the Playboy.
I think this is post Playboy, and I think this
he's acting like he doesn't know about the Playboy.
Yeah,
he knows.
I didn't know about the Playboy. I knew about One Night in China. I didn't know about the Playboy.
No, you have the Playboy. I know you do.
No, my brother and I had the Sable issue out on a rock pile when we were children.
Oh, nice.
Just Dakota things.
So that's all you needed.
South Dakota?
Yeah, but no, China.
When we were
like, no.
Yeah, because China's scary.
I think China's Playboy
Tyler
issue,
wants to get picked up is what it is. He wants a woman to set him on a shelf.
I didn't know, as a young man, I didn't know how tall I was going to be, and I thought maybe there's a chance I'm 7 feet tall. In the meantime, this is the first time I've seen a naked person that I know who they are, because I did get my hands on the Playboy issue.
Of China.
Oh, wow.
Well,
so
and you
I don't
liked
know.
it?
China came around at a very formative age. I watched a lot of wrestling, but then, like I said, Lita would eventually come into the picture, and then after that, it was game
Lita
over.
makes a lot more sense. Lita makes a lot more sense.
See, that's called maturing.
Well, I told Tyler
I
told Tyler when we were watching, because he was like, "Oh, Trish Stratus." I'm like, eventually, you grow up and realize Lita is for adults and Trish Stratus is for the boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Trish is still super hot. I mean, way better than China.
Well, yes, 100%.
Yeah, she is 100% doing better than China. Very rarely do women get featured. Until recently, obviously, we've had women main event WrestleMania, but women didn't really get featured a whole bunch outside of like gimmick matches. I mean, this is 2001, so like we're definitely starting to show them fight more.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was also when they started like women don't wrestle men anymore. They started like moving away from that a little bit, didn't they?
Well, China always did because of how big she
China
was.
did because she could kick men's asses.
But very rarely do you have somebody at a WrestleMania steamroll their opponent.
This is amazing. China is a
so quick.
beast.
Yeah.
So quick.
And that's part of the charm. She just looks like a badass doing it. I was like, yep, I'm here.
I do have a note. I think it's when China comes out, and this has been happening the entire WrestleMania, is when people come out and their theme song plays, dude, they are promoting like hella hard for WWF The Music Volume 5 on CD. Like they're like, dude, you want to hear this song on a CD? Buy it. Like every time a graphic pops up, get the album.
And it's The Rock with like a pie
with an eyebrow.
Yeah,
I have it.
Of course he hasn't.
How many physical wrestling VHS tapes do you own?
I don't know.
Dude.
Probably like 20 plus.
Well, because you have the WrestleMania.
I have the whole WrestleMania box set through WrestleMania 13 or 12. And then I have a lot of the big box Coliseum home video VHS from back in the early 90s. I've got a few.
I would reckon those are probably worth a little bit of money now.
They are. The Coliseum home video ones for sure. I've got a couple that are sealed that have like the promo like keychain or whatever that was going to a video store.
Nice.
And I've never opened them. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, China wins.
That's so cool.
Yep. Do you guys want to
quick?
Do you guys want to take a quick break?
Spaceships,
magic swords,
intergalactic empires,
dead gods,
and creatures from beyond the moon.
What mad universe could contain all these fantastic visions?
What Mad Universe is a bi-weekly podcast
Delving into the misty origins of sci-fi and fantasy, pop culture and genre tropes.
Take a cosmic trip on What Mad Universe podcast, now on the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network.
Today's show is brought to you by EPOS Gaming Audio, with a comprehensive lineup of both wired and wireless headsets, gaming amplifiers, microphones, and webcams. EPOS has everything you need to experience the power of audio. Like their H6 Pro lineup, which features two versions, an open or closed headset. The closed headset allows you to tap into exceptionally detailed audio and seals out ambient noise, while the open version delivers natural high-fidelity audio with an incredible soundstage. Both headsets include a magnetic detachable microphone and a sleek design that has no wild RGB configurations, just good design. Listeners can save 15% by visiting www.eposaudio.com/gaming and entering code EPOSFRIEND15 at checkout. That is EPOSFRIEND15 at checkout. Hey everybody, and we're back for a crescendo of madness. It doesn't slow down. There is a brief breather with gimmick battle royale, but apart from that, we are about to reach the biggest
maximum
levels
velocity.
So this is the promo. Let's talk about what's happening with the McMahon family. This shit's fucking insane.
Yes, dude. So I don't know. The only backstory I know from this match is what they tell in WrestleMania. So apparently, this is what I got from WrestleMania. I didn't watch any of the things leading up, but apparently Vince wants to get a divorce from Linda, and he's hooking up with Trish. Yeah. But yet Trish is taking care of Linda because she's on medicine? What the fuck?
I think...
excuse me?
I think
This is...
Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
I think this is the tail end of the Mr. McMahon character. We all knew this was going on behind the scenes, and now they're really putting it in front of us.
At the time, so when you're in the ratings war with WCW, Vince McMahon had this brilliant idea as the CEO of the company to put himself in the ring, because what does everybody want to do? They want to fight their boss.
They want to fight their boss.
Especially back then.
And also, dude, I will say Vince is ridiculous, but I do love him. Especially when he wrestles, because he makes some of the best faces. He makes some of the best. Dude, his reaction shots. Yeah.
He is,
and then the way he talks.
He would be a great actor for the theater because he projects miles away. People 10 miles away fucking can see what he's feeling.
Dude, he could do one of those gulps, and people in the back row would see it, dude, because he overdoes it, but I love it so much.
Yeah. That traditional shot of, it's not about this match, but when Austin's glass breaks and Vince just goes, does the gulp, it's okay, he knows he's gonna get his shit pumped right now.
So
But it's a family affair for this match.
Shit's so crazy.
Shane Vince.
And at this point, we're reaching levels where the Vince McMahon character itself is becoming a caricature. It's become like Flanderized. Yeah. Did I use?
It's larger than life,
compared to like even in like 97, 98, like even a couple years earlier, where he was really beefing with Stone Cold. Which no spoilers, but we're going to get into that whole thing probably at some point.
Yeah, we have to. It happens in this, at the end.
But this is probably around the time or shortly after he had the alleged idea where he's the father to Stephanie's kid, and like so whatever batshit crazy ideas Vince McMahon is coming up with at this period, there's nobody to stop.
Well, but it's smart though too.
At this point, he's led such a successful company that he's surrounded himself with yes men. So any of his ideas, people just go, okay, let's do it, Vince. You got us to this point. And
so he wants to get a divorce from Linda because she was commissioner or in charge of something, and she made a decision he didn't like. Is that?
Dude, and then he just starts drugging her.
Okay, so yes, she becomes like catatonic and drugged, but
she's a zombie.
No, before this,
dude.
something they didn't show in the promo, he makes Trish Stratus like earn his like forgiveness by getting naked and walking around like a pig in the stage, covered up. And
Jesus,
that is madness, and that is Attitude Era, like the most attitude shit you can do.
Yeah, because he's in charge of the company. You got to listen to him. Like that's fun.
Yeah, I might have been too young to remember, but Wes, you might remember. Is this so? This is post steroid scandal where I believe Linda was in charge of the company because it looked like Vince was going away for some years. Is she commissioner, or does she have a active control of the company, and that's why he sedates her going into this?
I don't remember.
It's a weird.
It's
honestly,
amazing. It's amazing.
Backstory.
The sentence that I just said is batshit crazy, but it doesn't even.
Yeah.
That's wrestling for you.
Yeah. So
that's Vince for you.
yeah. So Vince tells Trish Stratus, the young woman he's having an affair with, to bring his catatonic wife out once Shane McMahon, his son, is immobile. During their match, Shane wants to fight him for disrespecting and dishonoring his mother. Vince in the
and also there's also discrepancy because Shane bought WCW and Vince was mad about it. So they were talking about that, and so he's like, McMahon was on the title, but it wasn't Vince.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of his promos, and it's just like, they're just doing so much.
Fun fact, you mentioned they bought WCW. I want to ask you all if you know how much it cost to buy WCW.
Oh, in 2000.
Ooh, I don't.
I'm gonna guess.
Probably a shit ton.
I'm gonna guess $131 million.
Any guesses over there?
Oh my god.
I don't even know where to begin.
The price that WWE paid to buy WCW is one of the most shocking things about the story looking back. WCW was losing so much money that the AOL Time Warner organization just wanted to get rid of it and sold it to Vince McMahon for the very low price for the trademarks, name, and property of WCW for $2.5 million.
Wow.
That's
$2.5 million.
I mean that is a lot. I get, but
that's it. That's a fucking incredibly low amount.
That's wild.
But I guess it was hemorraging money at that point.
Yeah, I mean they went all heavy, and then they were like, "Oh fuck."
Yep. Vince told Shane he'll never forgive his wife for giving birth to you. It's like
honestly,
I was watching this and I was freaking out. This is the best, most over the top shit.
I get you're doing wrestlers and your characters, but that's your real son, and that's your real life.
But if my dad was down to get in a ring and have us talk shit at each other and people would cheer, I'd be down.
Honestly, I found this match to be super relatable.
Yeah, because people will freak out. So it's a street fight. It's Shane, dad versus son street fight.
It's Shakespearean. This is like the most like classic family drama battle you could ever have.
And then to add on top of the ridiculousness that already is this, guess who the guest referee is?
Motherfucking Mick Foley in a handmade referee shirt. And I like the little like backstage. He's like, I'm going to do a fair match. I'm going to go right down the middle.
Yeah, he goes. I don't care that Vince embarrassed me. That Vince did. He brings up all this list. He goes, I'll keep it a fair fight.
So the match starts out pretty intense, really quick. They're both good wrestlers, and Shane O'Mac, which.
Yeah, Shane's
he's
really
very charismatic.
Yeah. He's always been a man of the people too. He's willing to put himself in some really difficult spots.
He does a lot of high spots.
He gives his body up a lot.
He's willing to like jump.
He does I don't know, some of the plexiglass match, which I know isn't this WrestleMania, is one of my fondest memories of wrestling, where Kurt Angle had to put him through plexiglass, and he didn't go through the first time, so they said, fuck it, do it again. And I don't think it even went through on the second time. I think it was the third time.
I like that.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, speaking of that, dude, this is the match where they jump off and hit a table, and of course they destroyed the Spanish announcers table.
Yes,
of course. It's always the first table they destroy is the Spanish
and the
announcers.
only table. They will never touch JR's table almost ever, but that Spanish table will get destroyed very quickly.
They do later in the match. Later in the card, all of the tables are destroyed. But this is the first table to get destroyed, and it's a Spanish table. And it's so funny because they destroy it a second time later. And I think that's so funny.
A quick fun fact that I learned not too long ago is that JR's table, or the English broadcasting table, is back in the day a lot of times where the blades would be hidden and for blading. There's a video of like Randy Orton.
Explain blading to our listeners, because I didn't know about this.
So like when back in the day when a wrestler would bleed, it was real blood, and they would have a razor blade, and you hold the tip corner of it between your two fingers,
and you cut yourself,
and you stab yourself in the forehead to create little pock marks that will bleed as you exert more energy. So it's a small cut, but maximum value, because as your heart rate increases,
but sometimes during a match, they cut a little too much.
Yeah.
And blood goes everywhere.
It's wild.
But some wrestlers would like keep it, like they would like tape a little piece of the razor blade in their wrist or like in their, and that's fucking scary. Razor blades are so sharp.
And I think there's a few matches where you can see where like if someone had one taped in their wrist from like doing a whip into a corner, you can see that it's caught the other wrestler on the arm a couple times during spots.
Yeah. And also you can kind of tell before like a big spot, if you pay attention and if you know it's coming, someone gets thrown into something, they're knocked over, their head's down, and that's when they do it, and then they get thrown into something and they're like, oh, that's where the blood came from. No, they actually prep. So it's kind of a cool science that they've.
There's a shot later on. The Rock drops his blade and he has to pick it up. You can see it if you're looking for it. Yeah. I did not catch
scouring
all of the internet.
Yes, a lot of times. If they can't bring the blade with them and conceal it on them, it'll be underneath the announcer table, which is why a lot of times those big matches, when someone's going to bleed, it happens outside the ring, near the around.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was just a fun little fact I learned.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So Shane O'Mac misses a people's elbow. He gets knocked out, and that's Vince McMahon's cue for Trish to bring Linda out in a wheelchair. This is all very normal stuff. She tends to Vince.
Yeah, 100%
She's
normal.
helping Vince. Oh, my poor baby. But then she slaps him in the face. And then Stephanie McMahon slaps her in the face and slaps Mankind in the face.
Yeah.
And then those two just chase each other out. Vince McMahon gets up, gets in his wife's face, and Brad, you can't hear it. You can't hear it, but you can see it.
But I want you to do it because you did it so good on the spot.
You bitch.
Yeah. Straight to her face, dude. Jesus
I'm doing
Christ.
Kevin McAllister's Home Alone face when I saw that. I'm like, I can't. Oh my God.
I choked on my Topper's pizza.
It was fantastic. It was the most absurd thing. And I didn't know we were going to reach this level of absurdity. And it's early.
We haven't even hit.
There's probably another hour and a half.
This is before the gimmick match.
Yeah, before we get the fucking bushwhackers out here, Yes. Vince hits Mick Foley with a chair, and he drags his limp wife into the ring.
Sets
her up in the corner.
And sets up a chair and puts her in the corner so she can watch.
I'm so excited.
What the fuck?
And like a Valkyrie, or no, not a Phoenix, Linda will rise from the ashes because
Linda just fucking stands up.
Yeah, she's not sedated anymore.
Dude, I was like, what the? She just came out of it? Well, like, what's going on here?
Trish Stratus,
was she faking
Trish Stratus
it?
was no longer administering the sedation stuff, is my thought.
Oh, and the drugs wear off that quickly.
We have two possible scenarios where either A, Trish and Linda were backstage and she's like, listen, I'm not going to drug you this time. You just got to play along until there's your opening. Or B, Trish was in the back with like beakers and Bunsen burners and like measuring out exact dosage.
And doing a small dose of drugs.
Or C, it was written and planned in advance.
Don't break kayfabe.
Oh, come on. but
I don't know. Vince's reaction to when his wife stands up, it could be real. Before she kicks him in what JR calls the McMahon family jewels.
Love it. And then
Mick Foley freaking comes in.
Oh yeah.
And to end this match, we get particularly probably one of my favorite spots in the entire night. Shane McMahon climbs up on the opposite turnbuckle.
Dude, yeah, he jumps corner to corner.
And drop kicks a trash can into his father's face.
Dude, that's a massive move.
It's awesome.
But
Super athletic.
Because he fucking jumps from corner to corner and kicks it. And it's just like, Jesus.
I forgot how fucking crazy that was. And I've seen that move.
Yeah,
I've seen that clip a dozen times.
It's absolutely wild. This match is only 14 minutes long.
And it is 14 minutes of pure bliss.
That's it? It's only, okay, that's pretty quick, yeah.
At this point, I couldn't.
But I guess compared to the other
I couldn't
matches,
imagine anything getting crazier than this at this point. And yeah, Shane.
And then guess what follows?
Shane wins, and then we get one of the most absurd things I've seen. The TLC 2.
I would say this is.
Dude, this match is this is one of the best matches I think on the card. This is awesome. The TLC 2 match, freaking Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, incredible. All amazing wrestlers,
it's epic.
over the top.
I will say, unpopular opinion.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I like the first one better.
Ooh,
I like the first one better.
And so that was the years prior WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Okay.
WrestleMania 2000.
Was that just a 2v2 match? The original TLC?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And then they made it.
It was just the Hardy Boys and Christian and Edge, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Dudley Boys came out for this one.
This essentially becomes a 3v3v3 match because they all have assistants show up. Why do you prefer the original?
Yeah, they all come
TLC.
I feel like a lot of the spots that they did in the second one I'd seen before.
But I still was pretty like.
But it's great. I'm not trying to shit on it.
And also,
like it's just
some of the ladders, like they bring out like a 20-foot ladder, like, and it's like that's the ladder outside the ring is the same height as the ladder inside the ring. That's wild.
Yeah.
When Edge hits Jeff with the spear
off
of the ladder, off of the belt,
when he's hanging from the belt.
I did laps around my dad's trailer.
You were like, yeah.
I did actual laps.
I can see how this match, it could be almost disorienting because at some points there's 6 ladders, 4 tables, all stacked. There's just so much going on.
Dude, it's pure chaos. And what's wild is, like, obviously, wrestling is scripted, but how the fuck do they choreograph this? That was when I was watching this, I was like, how do you plan? Because there's so much is going on. How do you be like, okay, we're going to set up tables at this point, and then in 10 minutes, those tables are then going to come and play. Like there's so many moving parts in this match and everything plays off. Like it's like very well choreographed, but it doesn't seem like it's choreographed. Like that's what the art of wrestling is like so cool.
Because they set up the big set pieces that stick out in my mind. All right, at one point there are 3 ladders and all 6 are up fighting each other. At one point, they set up tables on top of each other outside of the ring.
Yeah, double stacked tables.
There's a 20-foot ladder that happens, and then a Hardy Boy walks across 4 ladders set up in a row.
That would be Jeff, yes.
Or Jeff, one of them.
Just the top of
Jeff
them.
Hardy.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy walks across all 4
To me,
of them.
those are all moments that had to be set up and planned. And the spear off of that where they're dangling.
Yeah.
And that's like, for 6 people that all those beats when so much could go wrong. As someone who is, I'm on a ladder every day, so I feel what's happening.
Yes.
Well, they set up the 2 tables stacked immediately. Yeah. And then towards the end of the match is where someone gets knocked off. 2 people get knocked off into the 2 tables. And so you forget about the 2 tables and you're like, oh, fuck, badass moment. Like, that's awesome.
The shining gem that everybody remembers from this match is obviously Edge spearing Jeff off of the title from the ladder. But honestly, I think Jeff's Swanton Bomb.
No, that's bigger to me, the Swanton Bomb.
Yeah, is much bigger. Off the big ass ladder, through the tables. Like, that is fucking nuts.
Because, dude, 20 feet, dude. It's
nuts, but like as much as I love this stuff, guys, and I did love it in the moment. Like I didn't realize in the moment that it was the death of like chain wrestling and really telling stories in matches, and we've got ourselves to a point today where it's all high spots.
It's all high spots.
It's all high spots.
People are just trying to set it up for the next thing.
You just made me really sad right now, Wes.
No, it's like this was the peak. This was the apex. You know,
we're getting a good mixture.
And now it's just it's just ballet.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's.
But this match, it is badass.
Yeah, this is huge.
It's a badass match, and then freaking assistants come out for every team. You got freaking Spike Dudley comes out, Rhino comes out, freaking Lita comes out. We had talked about her, you know, like it's awesome. It just becomes even more chaos.
Just hanging from the belt by itself is so such an image, and then to get speared off of that belt,
and
also I love I love that they have a camera like where the belt is hanging, you know, and so you can get those iconic shots, which is so badass.
Yeah, and at this time, super big deal for me because Edge was a tag team champion. He was not relegated to like single superstar status yet. So for him to have a big spot in WrestleMania as my favorite wrestler, I was like, yo, let's fucking go. My brothers made fun of me because he was no Triple H, he was no Stone Cold, he was no The Rock.
You knew though.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool that you liked somebody that wasn't, you know liked by everyone else.
It was the vampire shit with Gangrel in the 90s. Yeah. I was like, that's cool. I like that. And for whatever reason, Edge just stuck out for me.
I was surprised watching this because the Dudley Boys came out and you were like, oh, yeah.
I miss them.
Well, but I didn't know. To me, nothing about them telegraphed good guys.
No, they just fuck you up kind of guys.
But they were beloved.
Well, they just like to put the people...
Devon, get the tables.
Get the wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Through the tables.
To me, I was like, I didn't get it. But impressive all around. This is a very iconic, big, impressive... it just showcases athletic prowess from all of them and serious shit.
Incredible
Swanton
match.
bomb from a 20-foot ladder onto a table onto 2 dudes.
Can't beat it.
You can't fake it.
Dude. No,
Yeah.
Beautiful choreographed.
That is as real as it gets, right there.
Like, it's like wrestling is fake and scripted, but it's also like they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's you try climbing up to a 20-foot ladder and jump doing that.
I fall off a 20-foot ladder trying to stand on them. Just
Yeah, exactly. But you're jumping off into tables onto other people.
Shit's amazing.
Edge and Christian freaking pull it off, and they end up winning the match, which is freaking badass. I did kind of in my heart, I wanted the Hardy Boys to win because I love the Hardy Boys, but I do like Edge and Christian.
And I will say this: I think a lot of everybody in this match were pioneers, and they are all still varying degrees of relevant, but they're all still relevant today.
Yeah.
They are all still they all love the business. And I think their love for the business shows through in this match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute highlight reel for all of their careers in this match.
When
Yeah.
When we were talking about like what WrestleMania we were going to do, and Brad had looked it up, and he was like 17 seems to be the most popular. The first thing I said was, I believe that's when Edge spears Jeff Hardy off the title. I wasn't even talking about the main event.
You could just see it in your
But to have one of the biggest spots at arguably the most popular WrestleMania, I mean, you gotta, like, if you're on the WrestleMania card and you're not the headlining match, you gotta do things to stand out. Yep.
You know, so you gotta do like that kind of stuff to be like, okay, that's something I remember from that. And it wasn't the headlining match, because everybody obviously is like, oh, Stone Cold Rock, but it's like you got to do those moments to really like cement it as one of the best matches.
Yeah,
and it was a great match.
Do you have length on that match, Brad?
15 minutes.
That's crazy. It felt like a
That's
lifetime.
it.
So luckily,
No, that was a lot. That felt a lot longer. But like it does. Like what's weird is like wrestling doesn't seem like it's. Sometimes it seems really short, and other times it seems like a little long. It's all about the storytelling.
but
too.
luckily they give everyone in the audience, all 70,000 of them, time to go to the bathroom and get another beer, because they put on the gimmick battle royale. Which
yes, dude, this is my exact note was this is when you get up and get a beer and go to the bathroom. But before the match, they announced that they set an all-time record for the Astrodome. 67,000 people, 67,925 people.
Fuck yeah, man!
All-time record.
And one of those
pretty badass. It's 2001.
And one of them was gobbledygook, and that's a record in itself.
Yeah,
Gobbledygooker.
dude.
Gobbledygooker,
so we
yeah.
can kind of we don't have to spend time talking about this gimmick match, but I'll tell you, like, it took longer for the people to get introduced than the actual match.
Way longer.
yes.
Like it was just like Jesus Christ, 18 people, Bushwhackers, Duke the Dump. Like you got a couple pretty cool people, and other people
Dude,
were like, what the
I
hell is
was so
this?
excited. I'm like, oh, they're bringing out some vestigial, fucking old school, the weirdest.
Yeah, they're bringing
most,
out they brought out Sergeant Slaughter.
I saw Doink the Clown.
Sergeant Slaughter.
I saw Doink. I'm like,
Doink the Clown.
Doink's there.
Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah.
One thing I like
just
talking about with people pertaining to this match is how much slower time went when we were kids. So think about this. Earthquake and Typhoon, who came out in that match as Tugboat.
Yeah, Earthquake and Tugboat.
Why didn't it have him come out as Typhoon to pair up with Earthquake? I don't know. But those guys were relevant 91, 92, 93. They're not that old by the time we get to 2000, 2001. Yeah. Doink the Clown's like 95. Duke the Dumpster Drozie's like circa 93, 94. But they seemed, when they came out to us at that time, like they were so fucking old.
Yeah, they seemed like...
And then, like, let's turn our lens to WWE today, and John Cena can come back whenever the fuck he wants, and it doesn't feel like Earthquake's coming back.
Well, same with The Rock. The Rock still makes appearances, and it's like...
It's weird. When we grew up, time went so damn fast.
Well, that's how wrestling works. People went through pockets.
That's how the world works these days.
Yeah.
Like, all of the major movie stars, Tom Cruise is fucking old. Today, we're recording, Samuel L. Jackson turned 75. And he's still
Holy
playing
fuck.
40-year-old men in my mind.
Yeah. Well, like...
Yeah, he's still... Yeah. And he's still iconic. Like, that's...
It's a different thing now. People, you're expected to stay young forever, and they're not ready to let go of stars as early. But back then with, like, WWF, it was what works and what's hot and move on, and it was so quick.
I have not
move on quick. Like, dude, sometimes within 1 year, like someone would be at a WrestleMania, and then the next year they're not even on the card. Like, so what?
We have a gimmick battle royale where Doink the Clown's a part of it.
I was so pumped,
and he's only been out. He's only been out of the gig for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like what happened? And
I will say, obviously this match is a joke, but I do like that they brought out Mean Gene Okerlund, and then Bobby Heenan came out and announced it. I do like, dude, Mean Gene is amazing. I love him.
All-time great.
All-timer and Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan is the best color commentator in any sport ever, period. Like, done. Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, but
best.
they do all these introductions. They even do introductions for Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
So they do 20 introductions for the quickest, stupidest match.
I put down someone
think-
wearing blackface, a person with a Confederate flag robe. We have a person in a chicken suit.
Yep.
And everybody that came out, the entrances were more exciting to me than the match by far.
Oh, dude, the match is just so stupid. And I made a note when I was watching this. I was like, so I'm like, I like wrestling, you know, obviously, but this is why people make fun of wrestling, is because they do matches like this. Because, like, if you are like, oh, I don't know if I like wrestling, and you walk into WrestleMania, it's live, it's 2001, and this match is on, you go, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, this is why people don't like wrestling.
Look at like the timeline and where we're at in wrestling in 2001. You tell me why we could not have replaced this match with like Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero for the cruiserweight title. Like, why couldn't we have just
and
done
this
that?
match took up so much fucking time. It took up so much time.
I hate the match for one specific reason, and it's because watching the Iron Sheik move made me afraid to get old.
Fun fact.
He looks like he's
but also, dude,
like welded at the hips.
So you did all this bullshit, and then you had the Iron Sheik win.
The only reason he won was because he was the only person that couldn't get thrown over the ropes without getting hurt.
Yes. And
That's why he won. That's like a
That's the.
that's,
Is that
that's
really
a
why?
fact. At least something I read on a trivia website, so it must be real.
if you think about it,
Dude, yeah, that makes because I'm like, why did they make him win?
Yeah.
Out of all the
No,
people,
Jim Ross confirmed
They did
that.
a little Sergeant Slaughter stuff.
Jim Ross
okay.
confirmed that in the Jim Ross podcast.
called By God with Jim Ross.
My God, he has
Freaking-
sold
it
his
was
soul
just
to the
dumb.
devil. No, this match is silly. This match was very fun for me. My mind was racing at the lore of all of these wrestlers, and it's like you said, you said, Wes. It's like
honestly,
they're not that old, and for every one of them to get a chance to come out at a WrestleMania is great for their careers. It's great for them getting onto more matches later on. Unfortunately, there was one wrestler that was behind the curtain, ready to come out, and they stopped him from coming out right before.
It was
What?
It was Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Really?
The Goldberg parody, because WCW got purchased and they didn't want to offend Bill Goldberg. So Gilbert has said he was like right there ready to come out, and they stopped him. They said, we can't have you go out there.
Wow.
oh my god, okay,
Wow.
that would have been honestly, this match, I like put it like I had it on. I was watching.
I think it would have been really cool if Gilbert came out.
But like
and
this
cleared
match,
the ring.
this match was boring, and like this is when I got up from my couch and got another beer,
Yeah.
and took a piss while the match was playing. Like I was like, I don't care about this. Like
I just
halfway through the intros, I was like, I'll just keep listening to it, and I'll do other
I went
things.
on autopilot, but one thing that I was thinking of when we watched this was I don't remember if Randy Orton returned or was set to return to WWE after he's been out for like the last year and a half or 2 years or whatever it was. He is 43 years old. And he like you said, time seems to have moved faster back in the day, because I guarantee you in this gimmick battle royale, somebody is in their mid 40s wrestling in this match, but Randy Orton,
Yeah.
it's just the weird perspective.
Yeah, it's weird.
You were
yeah.
making the exact point I was trying to make
Yes.
earlier. Is I don't know what it was, nutrition, wellness, our
Fitness.
childhood brains. I don't know. These guys still had something left in the tank.
A lot of career potential.
But we viewed it as kids as like, oh my god, they're has-beens.
Once you see the Iron Sheik walk out, you imagine everybody else is 90 as well.
Yeah. As soon as you said John
Yeah.
Cena can come back anytime, I know that man is older than me by a good margin, and I am going to be 31.
But
so
he'll
I was
make-
like, how old is Randy Orton?
Well, they
he'll make
even-
a point.
They even made a joke. I think we might have mentioned this before we were recording. Is they even made a joke when Iron Sheik was walking out, like it's going to be WrestleMania 30 by the time he gets to the ring. Like he was taking so long.
That was the best
Like,
part of the
that's-
commentary from Okerlund and Heenan. Because I feel like a lot of their commentary was a little bit lost. Like Okerlund didn't seem to know what to say. Heenan was working on it pretty good, but like they didn't seem like they had a lot of guidance. How do you talk about 40 people walking out that nobody knows anymore? Yeah.
Yeah, and
whatever you do.
And it's called the gimmick match, so it's just like they know it's a joke. They know people
they should
don't
call
care.
It like
they just fully
they could call it like
embraced
the classic or
the Legends match
Battle Royale.
or Legends Battle Royale.
Legends would have been really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Legends,
then you would have.
We got a couple more matches.
We got two more matches
now,
actually.
I didn't expect on a promo to see Kane holding Stephanie McMahon over a stairwell, threatening to throw her off.
Dude, but it was badass. It was. I'll tell you that. It was
that's
badass.
peak entertainment is what it is.
I didn't even know Undertaker and Kane worked together for a while, so this got me super excited.
They are canonically and in real life brothers.
They're brothers.
Not in real life.
Yeah.
They're brothers. Come
Meat
on.
was.
Okay.
You didn't know
I
that?
knew that. I knew
No, they're brothers, Brad.
Oh, okay. Mark Holloway and Governor so-and-so?
Jacobs?
Yeah. You got it.
Okay, Undertaker and Triple H. The whole point of this match, Triple H was talking shit, saying, "I've beaten everybody. I deserve a match." And Undertaker says,
And Undertaker's undefeated.
and WrestleMania is at this point.
At this point.
And also he continued. Spoiler alert, but he continues to be underrated for a while after this.
Like
I'm
a
sure.
solid another almost 20 years after this.
Yeah,
Probably-
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty, dude. That's insane.
It's got to be at least 15, I would say.
What are your guys' thoughts on Undertaker's like rebranding, like the American Badass?
At the time, I was a big fan because, like I said, I just liked the Undertaker and he was on a motorcycle. But when he eventually went back to the Dead Man, I was much happier. And as an adult, I wish the American Badass phase had never happened.
Yeah, I don't get why.
Yeah.
I don't understand the American Badass. Like, I'm like, dude, why
I
can't
hated it then. I hate it
why
now.
can't you just be Undertaker, stay as Undertaker? Like, you're still called Undertaker, but you're like it doesn't make sense to me. I still like him. He's still fantastic, but it was weird to me.
Mr. Motorcycle and Bandana was less cool to me than the Dead Man rising from the fucking grave. But Undertaker is still Undertaker. And regardless of of the persona, he is an entertainer and a very good. He puts on a good show, and as well as Triple H, they are both fantastic in the ring.
So they're both fantastic. But before the match even starts, I do want to. So Triple H's theme song is by Motorhead, and at WrestleMania, Motorhead fucking performed it live, which is badass because Lemmy's not. Rest in peace, Lemmy. Like that's. And I loved it, dude. That was incredible.
Do I have to be the guy to call out that Motorhead played the song pretty dodgy?
Calling shots.
I mean,
they missed a few spots. As cool as it was,
but it's still cool. Like you got a live band.
Granted,
like,
it's probably their only.
Limp Bizkit,
it's probably their only time playing it live ever.
And on top of that,
and they're just like one song.
But God damn it, man! As a musician myself, you walk in to play something that big.
Yes.
You think you'd be ready to fucking play it, and you wouldn't.
Yeah,
miss
one song to
a
practice,
fucking verse or a chorus.
Yeah, it's just one song.
Like get ready, dude.
But also, they're rock and roll badass wrestling, dude. They're like, I don't care. I don't know. I didn't notice because I don't know Motorhead that well. I was like, I just thought, dude, this is badass. Lemmy's fucking.
It was cool.
It was badass.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they brought one band in. If they had Limp Bizkit there, you could have done half of the intros. Just bring Fred Durst in, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Limp Bizkit did perform at WrestleMania, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did.
Well, the one that we were watching,
maybe in the
little video on WrestleMania where he flips off the crowd with Rick Rubin.
I don't remember which one it was, but I'm pretty sure they have.
WrestleMania 2000.
He got in trouble for flicking off the camera one time, and they had to escort him out of the arena, is what it said on the YouTube video.
Fred Durst.
Well, it's his way or the highway.
I like that.
All right, but Undertaker and Triple H, the built-up drama with them is that Triple H was talking shit. Undertaker had a restraining order against him by Stephanie McMahon, but not Kane.
Yeah.
So he's sent Kane to torture him to get the match.
To chase her off.
But yes, this is
and that's his future wife.
What is this, a no DQ match? No, the ref gets knocked out for over 10 minutes is the thing.
Yeah, the ref gets knocked out pretty quick, and then it's just chaos.
Yeah, we have. They eventually make their way to like scaffolding, and they have a pretty cool spot where,
dude. Yeah, so they do it. They wrestle for a decent amount of time in the ring, and then Triple H brings the sledgehammer out, which I do like the Triple H sledgehammer.
Iconic.
And then they get out of the ring. They fight through the crowd into the scaffolding. Dude, I made this note. I don't know if you guys noticed this when I was watching it, but when they're going through the scaffolding, they're like walking past like the sound guy or like somebody that's running something for the show. Dude, he's cowering underneath the bench.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, dude, he's in the fetal position as they're fighting. He's like hiding, like, don't fuck with me.
Love it.
Like, he's like legitimately scared, and it made me laugh so hard.
I love it when they go through the crowd, and you can tell the security's
great.
set ahead because people are crazy. Some of them are on drugs, and they might try and stab a heel.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, and yeah, wrestling fans are crazy, and then also the camera crew's trying to get through to get the shots, and
Watching this match back,
it was, dude,
knowing what's
pretty good match.
Yeah. At the time, the stakes were a lot higher because you have Triple H. It is a fucking just absolute bullet train bulldozing through the industry, and
he's just a performer. I feel like he's always had a weak personality, but his performance is so good.
And he's
I don't know if I'm wrong
Stephanie,
there.
so that's definitely going to give him a leg up. But
well, he also, I mean, at this point, I mean, I do like Triple H. I do like him, and he's he's scary, dude.
I do too, and I think he.
But also, I love the Undertaker. You know, like so it's who
like
you pick.
You know, like I've always said, it's very hard to pick your best Triple H match. But when you go through wrestlers and you pick their best matches, it's ironic that he's in most of their top fives.
Yeah, he's
and I don't know a better way to say it than that. Like
he's just really good at. He's. I mean, he freaking is running the business right now.
He's head of creative.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in charge.
At the time of this match, he was a legitimate threat to because like eventually it would be Brock Lesnar, but like who's going to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Like, it had to be somebody, and Triple H somebody's got to do it. Biggest, I think the biggest threat.
He was their new guy.
I still offshoot. I still think Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker's bullshit.
I agree with you, and it makes me mad on a weekly basis when I think about it.
I was watching this
on a weekly
I was watching
basis.
the Stone Cold podcast. And he asked Vince McMahon about it. He's like, why did Undertaker lose to Brock Lesnar after all that time? And Vince McMahon said, you know, Undertaker's just so giving and wants to give back to someone's performance. And Stone Cold's like, Stone Cold was like, fuck that. No way Undertaker pitched that. And Vince McMahon's like, no. I said it had to happen, but Undertaker would let it happen. I'm like, I'm glad Stone Cold told me to say, no, fuck that, dude. There's no way that is the story.
Stone Cold
worst the only person worse that The Undertaker could have lost to at WrestleMania was Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg.
It's Goldberg and then Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, no. I think what should have happened is he never lost.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in that camp.
Just stays undefeated.
That's my camp,
and just kind of
my next camp, which. Knowing what I know now is not a good camp to be in. But my second camp would be I thought he should have lost to Bray Wyatt.
Oh, in the Hollywood match, or whatever.
The new darkness character.
That would have been really good.
But and then here we are, you know, today.
Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt.
But those were the two storylines.
Bray Wyatt was badass.
But I thought he should have carried that, no pun intended, to the grave.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's a dead man.
Luckily, though, we did not end his streak with Triple H because he does get the pinfall over Triple H in this match.
He does, but it's a battle, dude. They both pin each other. They both, it's freaking chaos.
It might be the longest ref bump in wrestling history at 11 minutes. It is a long one. Undertaker wins
I love that you have the time.
Undertaker wins at 18 minutes and 17 seconds, making him 9-0 at WrestleMania at this time. Undertaker,
that's badass,
amazing.
dude.
It's only been 9 years,
but also
9-0 in matches.
Wow,
that's insane. Yeah.
See, think about when I'm going back to my time frame thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is only his 9th match.
And he's still...
So I'm hard-pressed to think of a WrestleMania that he lost, like, that he was not at, despite injury, but he's always been a draw. So, like...
He's still a draw.
At 2001, yeah, like...
Yeah,
we're looking at 1993 was his... Yeah, that timeline works out. That's crazy. You're right. Time does move slower when you're a kid.
Yeah, it definitely.
Well, it's because you were only alive. Say you were 7. 1 year is just 1/7 of your life. You know, so it's only like.
I just think the guys that we are, man, we think like Stone Cold. If you really look how long he was relevant, guys, like not going into WCW, ECW, guys, it was like 5 years, if that.
That's wild.
And then people talk about Cena. It's like, dude, the guy's been around for like 20.
Yeah, Cena's been on top of the wrestling world for the majority of my adult life.
I was so anti-Cena for so long. Well, and then now I'm slowly starting to get it.
No, I think his character is dumb as fuck. Yeah.
But I do respect
what he's been able to do.
I like him.
He's just not the type of guy that I am.
And I want to cheer for.
No, John Cena's style and everything about him as starting as a wrestler, I was very against. I went as Peacemaker for Halloween. John Cena is so charismatic, and he is a performer, and he took what he had and he fucking worked with it. So even though his character might not have been great, he fucking nailed it.
He embraced it. So we talked about the beginning of the episode, like our history with wrestling. I didn't grow up watching wrestling at all, but my cousin was obsessed with pro wrestling, and his favorite wrestler was John Cena. I was born in '94, so by the time I was coherent, it's 2001. It's when this is happening, later. So he was obsessed with John Cena, and I remember just being like, dude, wrestling's so stupid. It's so fake. And then I was like, John Cena is so... I just hated John Cena because he liked him, and he was so annoying. So ever since I was a kid, I hated him. And now I'm slowly starting to appreciate him.
I like him in media outside of wrestling, but anybody who's like...
And also like all the Make-A-Wish stuff he does, like... I'm starting to like him as a person and not as a wrestling
I like
character.
Kurt Angle going to armed like Air Force bases and just trying to be there for the troops, and people are booing him. He's like,
"This is what I signed on for."
He's like, "I'm a gold medalist."
There was a weird cutaway during WrestleMania when they did I'm an Olympian.
I'm perfectly at the age to resent John Cena's character because it was the changing from like the more adult Attitude Era to the family era. It was that whole changing of the torch and like realizing that like I don't really care about wrestling that much anymore. But before him, the master of longevity was The Undertaker.
Still.
And I mean, he's not wrestling anymore. But
and there's
I can't believe it's only 9.
There's another wrestler turned actor we should talk about right now.
The Miz.
And that's the headlining match.
Miz. No, it's The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now
dude, so this is the headlining match of WrestleMania.
This is the X7. This is the gabagool.
And this is
the ultimate match of the Attitude Era. This is the final.
Well, and also, dude, what's wild is I love both of them.
Yeah, because they're
both kind of very similar.
They're both baby faces, is what they call it, right?
Yeah, but then also heels. Like they're both
well, I mean, so they both broke that wall of what is a baby face and what is a heel.
Yeah.
So their original feud back in the day, you could have called Stone Cold the face and The Rock the heel, but the crowd loved them both.
That's the tough part.
And this is the apex of their battle.
So Rock's coming in as the champion.
And this is Stone Cold returning after an injury.
And I'm not going to spoil it, but them both being like babyface heels, we'll call it, like being a gray area. They're essentially a Deadpool at this point where you're an anti-hero and the crowd loves you. Vince and company.
Yeah, and that crowd loves both of them.
Vince and company knew we have to do something at the end of this WrestleMania we gotta hammer the fact home that like one of these guys is a heel. And the way that's why I think that this WrestleMania is one of the best WrestleManias is because of the heel turn at the end of it all. That
I do like the way they ended it. Yeah,
that shit,
because it shocked me. It shocked me.
9-year-old Tyler,
and I watched it 20 plus years later.
9-year-old Tyler was like, "The fuck you doing?"
So all of these matches have been entertaining and to varying degrees. This match in 5 seconds, the way Stone Cold and Rock go to 0 to 200 right away, it's
a no disqualification match. So it's
surprise,
just like
no DQ match,
all holds barred.
But no, I'm just like the amount of adrenaline and the way the audience reacts to every hit and every move, it feels so big immediately, and it's clearly two of the best that have ever happened.
In their prime, too. Like, their prime wrestling years, too.
Yeah, no, like, the amount of energy that happens with Stone Cold coming right back, because this is one of his first matches since he returned from a broken neck.
You can tell when the music starts for both of them, the crowd goes... Like, I think The Rock comes out first, and then when Stone Cold's glass breaks, dude, what an iconic intro music. Like... Even when I hear that glass break and I'm not even watching wrestling, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, well, I try thinking of another time. I mean, there's only a few points in time that you could think that you had 2 stars at that level.
Yeah.
So maybe Hogan Warrior. Maybe.
I mean, that's a big one.
Maybe. But
these are people that... They're household names of people that don't even watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like people know Stone Cold and people know The Rock, and they might not even watch wrestling.
I think, and that's what's so crazy. Like to think about this time we were. It's like you don't have a comparable other than Hogan Warrior, Rock, and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Like fill in the gaps, guys. If I'm missing something, I think that's like the best 2 matches you could ever have.
Absolutely big.
Yeah, I would say the only other thing that I could think of that was the same level would have maybe been Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
That was a big one too.
Is the only thing that I think comes close.
Yes,
but those weren't. Shawn Michaels.
I love that because that's one of my favorite eras. But it was such a lesser known time.
Yeah. I mean, households knew Shawn Michaels, but a lot of people didn't know Bret Hart.
Yeah.
No, you walk around.
But I love
Bret
Hart.
I wouldn't put it on the same level as this WrestleMania, but I mean, for me personally, that was a pretty big deal.
For a wrestling fan, it's iconic.
I mean, Vince McMahon was trying to bury Bret Hart's career for a little while too, so that probably didn't help with legacy.
Sucks. Yeah.
That man spit on me after I fucked him out of the title. Let's erase him.
But no, this match, Stone Cold and The Rock are both so giving as performers. They're both selling each other's attacks and moves to a degree that's not like you don't see in other matches. Some matches you watch and it's very obvious that like
I don't know how I found this out. Maybe one of the announcers said it. Is at this point in 2001 when The Rock is headlining, The Rock is 28 years old,
dude. He's
younger than all of us, and he's freaking headlining WrestleMania. I mean,
it's weird. I've only gotten bigger and younger looking over 30 years.
Yeah, I know. And he's just, and also, dude, I will say The Rock looks so small compared to what he looks like nowadays. Like he looks like a normal person in 2001, and now.
So I love this match.
Match.
I love this match. I think it's a great match. I don't like false finishes.
And they do it a ton. They do it a ton in this.
Would you say false images?
False finishes.
False finishes.
False finishes.
Okay, you don't like it when a finisher happens and it doesn't pin.
Yeah. Well, and also because in this match they do each other's finishers.
Yeah, that's where if I was the writer or whoever, man, like whoever hits their finisher first puts that wrestler on the ultimate pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a tough.
No, I'm with you. It's weird that they do each other's finishers. They're doing there's so many finishers in this.
You have the
no,
hype.
Dude, it's wild. Yeah,
You have the hype,
and then
for
you
this
also go
episode.
that they're knocking out refs.
God damn it! It's like, to me, to write the match. It's we work our bodies, we work our arms, we work our legs, and it's a race to hit the rock bottom of their stunner. Yeah. And then if the Rock hits the rock bottom, he can then do the people's elbow.
Yeah.
But it's not a trait like that. That part of this match is where I'm like, dude,
this is what nowadays is what wrestling like. It's kind of started.
I know,
but I don't like it either. But that's how wrestling is nowadays. It's like, oh, we can do a finisher, so finishers don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
No,
you know what's cool?
And I like the world that I live in where the finisher fucking matters
because it's your finisher.
Yeah.
That's like the move that ends.
I agree, but the one time that I've ever seen a double encore is so drilled into my brain that was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. I've only seen one double encore, and it meant a lot. So, and that's how I feel about.
I've never seen a double encore.
The venue said no, but people stood around for an extra 5 minutes and screamed, and they're like, "Find the."
So what I'm getting at is you get one, bro. You get one kick out.
Yeah.
I drop you with a stunner. You can kick out.
Did they get back after two?
What they should have done, because you have the two most electrifying sports entertainers on the planet with the most hype possible in their prime. Like, you don't have to throw the kitchen sink at this. They are both dudes that can work a match, and they can hit their
and
spots.
People paid to see
have
this.
The fucking Rock hit the rock bottom, come out, and then he's going to do the people's elbow. Then have Vince come out and fucking interrupt it, throw a stain on it, and then have Austin hit the stunner, and then
hit the stunner.
It sells
do what you're going to do.
It sells the turn better too.
Then you keep those finishers special.
Yes. You could sell it more as Stone Cold didn't know Vince was coming out. It seemed a little more like pre-thought out. And if Stone Cold had a moment of selling his soul instead of, it's cool, get the chair. I didn't feel like there was any turmoil in Stone Cold's turn.
This is the match I took the most notes on, and this match was like they were going back and forth for a long time. This is I'm guessing the longest match of the card, obviously, because it's the headlining. What was the runtime?
This is the one that I didn't put down. It must have been that long.
Oh my god! Yeah. You had the time for all of them, but this one was definitely longer. I do have a quote though from Jim Ross. He says this during the match. He goes, "My God, this is intense. This is Wrestlemania."
Good job, buddy.
Okay, we get it.
But they knocked over the Snapple tray.
I was very entertained during this match.
I was psyched to see that both dudes they bladed during this match. So they both had a color. Yeah, it feels like the stakes are there.
And also there was a shot where the Rock, I'm pretty sure, so the Rock reversed a stunner and then put Stone Cold into a sharpshooter. Yeah. And it was the exact same shot of the Bret Hart Stone Cold match.
Yep.
Oh shit!
No, it was the same one, but Austin didn't release the hold there, and it led to Hart's win.
Because Stone Cold was in the sharpshooter bleeding, and it was like the exact same shot. And I was like, dude, that's a cool if you know, it's a
callback.
Yeah,
and also
it was a callback. But
he did the $1 million dream.
He
did the $1 million dream submission at one point. And he noted that he used that move when he was the ringmaster, which I don't even know what that means. But it put over the idea that Austin would do anything.
That was one of
his
personalities before.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. It's nice that they wrote history into the match too, and their character progression or flaws into the. Yeah. I don't know, Wes. You're just shaking your head over there.
No, I hope they put that much thought into it.
I mean,
I think a lot of these guys have revisionist history.
Oh, okay.
It was a great match.
Vince McMahon comes out, and Vince McMahon turns the match to Stone Cold.
Yeah, because he pulls the Rock. The Rock had it, and he pulls the Rock off.
Yeah, and when Vince is walking down, do you just feel like, all right, here's some fucking shit fuck going down? This is not going to end well.
He's still wearing that dumb fucking attire that he wore for the street match. Like it was like the black hoodie with the red under. Which,
if you don't have a body to show, that's what you wear.
But dude, at one point he was jacked.
Later on, when the steroids were really cooking.
No, but I think he was like in the 90s. I think he was dialed in.
He was fucking
He was ripped.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
he definitely
he was shredded.
He definitely did steroids.
Oh, 100%.
But but I love it. You know, I think these athletes should do steroids. It makes it's entertaining.
Bring steroids back to
Freaking look
baseball.
good.
We like home runs.
Dude, we want to see home
I
runs,
want
okay?
cork bats and fucking roids is what I want.
Yeah, let's fucking see it.
We get a Stone Cold Stunner,
Wild.
no pin, and then The Rock gets hit with the chair 16 times, and then there's a pin. Austin wins, new WWF champion. He shakes hands with Vince McMahon, and it has been deemed the end of the Attitude Era.
I did not expect him to shake. I was expecting to shake hands into a stunner.
Yeah.
Like, because that's Stone Cold. Like, Stone Cold always gives it like, oh, here's a beer, stunner. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting like
he worked with Vince to get in that position and fuck you too and fuck you.
And then, dude, that's what he should have. That's what he should have done. Yeah. The crowd would have, like, you won the match with Vince's help, and then you say fuck Vince, stun him. That's what Stone Cold's about.
In one word, as a child watching this match live, inconsolable. I wanted The Rock to win
a big word.
so bad.
Oh yeah, I was Stone Cold till I die.
I wanted Stone Cold to beat the shit out of Vince.
Oh yeah,
it was a worst case scenario for me, and I had to learn about loss at a very early age.
If The Rock was a good actor,
did you guys notice what beer Stone Cold was drinking in 2001 at this WrestleMania? A Budweiser.
Oh, I thought it was an NA.
No, it was Budweiser.
Oh, okay.
The old white and red.
It was Budweiser. It was fucking Bud Heavy, dude.
Okay.
He was drinking Bud Heavy.
Is that always what he drinks?
And he crushed. No, sometimes, I mean, now he's drinking his beer, but dude, he crushed probably. So he drinks them so fast. I mean, he spills them, but I just love when he drinks them and then he's like, give me more. I love that, dude. But I had to make a note of that. He's drinking Bud Heavy.
Also, he's covered in beer and blood and sweat by the end of the match. That motherfucker does not drop a beer. You throw that bitch from row 38, he's catching it and flipping you off at the same time.
Well, you raised something. You raised attention to me that he flips off inside versus outside a lot of times. I didn't know that he ever flipped inside.
Oh, so he does a lot of this. He does the inside. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Maybe for the camera view? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know, but
I do like here's what's wild is like I love
watch when he comes into the modern era, dude. He comes onto modern TV, he goes like this.
Oh, he doesn't flip off anymore?
No.
He can't.
That's fucking so stupid.
He goes,
dude, that's so stupid.
Well, I mean, and this comes down to the end of the Attitude Era. Now, the Attitude Era, I don't know how long it lasted, but it was when Vince McMahon wanted things to be over the top and extreme.
Well, it was when they had to beat WCW. They had
because they were fighting to.
They needed to be provocative. They needed to be over the top.
Yeah.
You had to beat your opponent. And the Attitude Era, I mean, I was very young in the 90s, but the 90s were kind of like that embodiment. It was fucking. It was a weird time.
It was in everything, dude. Video games, commercials, everything was weird in the 90s.
No, but I love your age because I would love.
I love your age.
No, for real. I'm being real. I would love to talk to you about wrestling, like deeper.
I'll add you on Discord right after this episode.
I don't have any social media, so good luck. But
yeah, I run all that.
No, but goddamn, man, it was such a seismic shift, and God, that Nitro Raw Attitude Era was the beginning of the end, but it was the beginning of the best times.
Yeah, that's I always knew that I came in about, a third of the way through at least, maybe halfway through, and caught the tail end of the best bits of it. But I'm 4 years older than my brothers, so like me and my dad can talk about it, and I can kind of remember, and shit was crazy. And I remember staying up late for pay-per-views, and
that's so cool.
I remember Hulk Hogan being like a super big deal, and like the Ultimate Warrior was gone, but I didn't have any memory of that, and Macho Man's gone. So like, where a lot of people who are older than me have those guys to lean back on, like mine was Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker. Those are the four. Those are like,
I mean,
that's the Mount Rushmore.
I'm the kid that I watched the first episode of Monday Night Raw with my dad and my brother.
First ever?
Oh yeah,
Raw?
For sure.
Damn, that's fucking badass.
I remember all that, and we rented the old videos, and I watched La Fin Nikita.
What the fuck is that?
That was the show that played after
It's a spy
Raw.
show. It's a lady show. Spy lady.
Yeah.
I know La Femme Nikita.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that in my life, dude.
Because I've been grassroots. Me and my brother didn't miss an episode of Monday Night Raw for like fucking 12
Well, and
years.
also you've told me that you were like, during the wars, you were flipping back and forth, like during commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
We would have the TV in the living room recording Nitro, and we were watching Raw.
So you could still see both shows.
I was Razor Ramon. I was Diesel. I was Heartbreak Kid. My first favorite wrestler was Ultimate Warrior, and it was because of his energy.
Makes sense.
So that,
yeah, dude, of course. Yeah. Not a good wrestler, but fantastic energy.
Yeah.
Fantastic energy.
But what were you saying, Wes?
Fuck, I don't know. No, the Warrior. I love the Warrior.
Yeah, the Warrior's great.
But yeah, this is the end of an era. It does seem sad, and it seemed. I don't know. I fell off shortly after this for sure because I don't.
I will say that. So going back to this WrestleMania, Stone Cold at this point is rocking 2 knee braces.
Yeah.
You know, but
the bionic redneck.
It's dude. Even with knee braces on, dude, he still looks bad. He's still a badass. Yeah. Dude, if you have a normal person walking around with 2 knee braces on, you go, what the fuck did you get up? Stone Cold walking around with 2 knee braces, you go, oh, hell yeah.
And he's still a really good worker.
He's still really good.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had his beer?
I do have. Oh, dude, we have cans. They're not here, but yeah, we've had. He has a pale ale and then an IPA. We've had.
I was at El Segundo Brewing out in L.A.
Oh, you went to the actual brewery?
I didn't know that Stone Cold was like involved at all with the beer, but I went there and I saw it was just like all this Stone Cold imagery in the brewery. I'm like, what the fuck? It was dude, very exciting.
And you were like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I started like pounding these cans and throwing them and flicking people off. I got
and people didn't like it.
So then I stunned them and then I went to jail.
I do have a quote from Jim Ross at the very end. Stone Cold has sold his soul to the devil himself to win the title. I can't do the quote. I can't do the voice, but he literally goes, he sold his soul to the devil to win the title because, you know, he sold out basically to, and now he's corporate, I guess. I don't know.
At the time, nobody in the stands were booing him as a heel turn. Everyone was still like, fuck it, Stone Cold is the man.
Everyone was like, everyone's just happy. But also I was like, dude, he walked off with Vince, and I was like, I did not like that.
Stone Cold. He could punch a baby, and I'm like, let's just hear about the baby before I draw conclusions.
Yeah, that baby is.
Yeah, the baby flipped him off, probably. But what were your guys' like overall thoughts? What did you guys think of WrestleMania 17? Is it
high?
Does it deserve to be in the ranks of one of the best freaking WrestleManias?
Fucking super hot. Loved it. Couldn't believe how more ridiculous and more intense than I thought it would be, and super impressed by not only just the technical skill of what wrestling could be, but the TLC match, the fucking hardcore match. I was super impressed with China, which people say are underwhelming. I thought this was a perfect showcase of all of the different possibilities of professional wrestling.
2001, all the things. I thought, if I would have watched it live in 2001, I probably would have loved it. But going back 20 plus years later, I didn't watch it live, obviously, but I thought it was just too long.
It's very long.
But I get that it was a pay-per-view and it is a live event. Like if I were to go back and watch an old Super Bowl, I'd probably think that was too long. I'd probably, so it could just be because it's a pay-per-view and all that stuff. But there was a few matches where I was like, do we need to be doing this? Do we need to be doing an 18-man gimmick match? Do we need to be doing that?
No.
Like there was a few matches I could have thought that could have been cut out. But overall, it was really good.
I think what they were dealing with, buying WCW, ECW.
It was a transition period.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of knocked it out of the park. I don't like the false finishes on the Stone Cold Rock match, but the match was really cool.
Yeah, and it both showcased.
Yeah, should have been.
Both showcased how good both of them are. Yeah. I liked it.
I was, as a kid, it worked perfectly because I can't remember another time I was that upset at the outcome of an event.
Yeah.
Like, I was hook, line, and sinker.
That's what they want you to be.
Yeah. And, I really liked The Rock. I really liked Stone Cold. I was really heartbroken when The Rock lost, and I was even more upset that Stone Cold sold his soul to the fucking devil.
To the devil, dude.
The devil himself.
The devil.
Well, dude, I don't know if you remember this, but this is Wrestlemania. Anything can happen.
No, I'm glad we were able to do this as a Christmas episode because this era of wrestling, I don't know, I have such nostalgia and rose-tinted glasses on it. It's just, I look back on all of these matches and shit with very fond memories of my childhood. So it was a lot of fun to watch it as an adult.
You always remember like the high spots of every match. You're like, oh, the Kane freaking Raven match. They fly through the thing. Oh, you remember the spear from it's like you remember like the moments, and that's what's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I do think this point in time though is really important. Of it showcased kind of that merger and purchase of ECW, WCW, and WWF all in one WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like, what happens the next WrestleMania? Like, is there more? Like, I don't know. I haven't.
Linda McMahon's in a coma, and it turns out Vince is fucking his daughter. I can't imagine.
Also, the same. It's the same type of stuff.
I don't know. I can't imagine. I'm just trying to speculate based on Days of Our Lives.
Or maybe the next WrestleMania, Vince fights God.
That'd be at one point.
That did happen?
Yeah,
that did happen.
He does that at some point.
Yeah.
Well, one crazy takeaway from all this is Zuffa, the company that owns the UFC, has entered an agreement with whatever the parent company for the WWE is now. So Vince McMahon technically is above Dana White in the hierarchy of the business that owns both brands.
But The Rock owns XFL, so who's the real winner?
I don't know. These guys are extreme sports athletes.
The football station nobody watches.
Well, WrestleMania X7 grossed $3.5 million, enough to pay for WCW plus $1 million.
Yep.
So good for them. And
plus $1 million.
We want to thank you so much, you two, for joining us on this episode.
Oh, thanks for having us.
When I think of professional wrestling and badass gamers and people that I don't talk to enough, it's you, Robert and Wes. So thank you so much.
Dude, thanks for having us.
If our listeners wanted to, if you don't know about Gaming Off the Grid, listeners, fucking check it out. It's one of the most badass YouTube channels available right now. But I just gave a promo. But if they wanted to find you, how could they do so?
Maybe.
I mean, we're fucking so huge, dude. Like we're like we're like not even at 40,000 subs huge. But that's how huge we are.
But like,
we're the cream of the crop.
What would Stone Cold say about our channel, though?
What
would Stone Cold say about our channel?
He'd say, "Listen here, son. You want to watch a channel about two little pieces of trash that don't know what the hell's going on, son." tune in to Gaming Off the Grid. Oh, hell yeah.
And that's from Stone Cold himself. He just left the building. For the people listening at home, he's gone.
I think that's Austin. You just quoted Austin 3:16 verbatim is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And what I heard was a couple of very humble people talking down about how great their content is. And yes, definitely check out Gaming Off the Grid and check out the Moist Monday podcast as well.
Oh, you don't have to bring that bullshit in it.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's interweaved.
Hey, Robert, what would Ric
Spider-Verse.
Flair say about the Moist Monday podcast?
He'd probably go, woo! That actually hurt my throat, I think, when I did that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Fucking love you guys. And if you want to check out more content from Hair of the Dogcast, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube. We are on. We don't have a TikTok.
What the fuck is Blue Sky? What's Blue Sky?
Blue Sky is like the new offshoot from Twitter founder guy. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I hate interrupting your outro,
No,
but
please.
you said we could say whatever the fuck we want.
No, I want you to.
Yeah, what the fuck's Blue Sky?
Blue Sky. It's the creator.
I've never heard of it.
The creator of Twitter started it, and it's where you needed like a private invite for a while, so it's super small still.
Okay, so you're cool.
No, I'm not.
yeah.
I don't.
Oh, so you're
I
cool?
don't use it at all.
No, so you're cool?
I got an invite, and I haven't done shit there because nothing happens there because no one's there.
No, but you have one, and you promote it.
I don't know, but I also don't use that or Threads. And we post on Twitter because it's a part of something I can do on our fucking podcast hosting site. I don't go out of my way to do any of this.
Yeah, but you're promoting it at the end of the episode.
Brad, we've known each other for a while. Just don't forget that no matter what happens, we'll never not bust balls. So just fucking get ready.
Mostly, though, we're part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network, so check out all those other amazing shows.
Oh, nice.
They did send us these beautiful headphones you're seeing, so we do love them.
Nice.
Oh, they are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, if you want access to our episodes in advance, no ads, higher bit rate, and exclusive podcasts, check out patreon.com/Hair of the Dogcast. That's most important. Write a review, whatever. Special thanks to executive producers Ryan Christianek, Kip Kipper, Brian Ward, Jordan Hoff, Phil Wright, Philium Birkin, Cole Del Gardno, Bryant Ross, and Kelly Gutowski. We love you all. And fuck yes, best wrestler of all time has got to be
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Ooh.
Hands down.
We're going best or favorite.
Yeah, that's an important distinction. Best or favorite.
They should be the same.
Okay, then that's easy.
No, they shouldn't. They're different.
If I got to lump them in the same.
I agree with Brad here. I think
I'm going Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Going Edge. The rated R superstar. Adam Copeland.
I'm going Val Venus in his
I'm
RTC
going Bret
era.
Hart. Val Venus.
I mean, that's a favorite.
No, he's the best, dude. He
best-
almost got his dick cut off. What else do you want from a guy, dude?
Okay. Before we leave, best wrestler. Not my favorite. Best Vince McMahon.
What about Scotty Too Hottie
Sign
and
off.
Grandmaster Sexy?
I'd go Shane O'Mac over Vince.
I mean, those are great.
I'm still.
You put Shane over
no,
Vince?
maybe Mankind. We can talk about this all day.
Yeah, Mankind is great.